Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
As the agent for Ayden, Ansley, John Milton, you are indicating to me that you're quite familiar with Ayden, Ansley, John Milton, and that's basically you. Is that correct?
I am the agent authorized to represent Ayden, Ansley, John Milton, as written in all capital letters.
All right, and you understand for my purposes, though that language doesn't make any sense. So
No, I do not.
I understand? Okay, well, I'm telling you that. And so I am, until you disabuse me of the motion, or the notion, I am inclined to believe that you are both the agent and the person. So. And it's
I'm not a person, I am one of the people, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
There it is. I'm not a person, I'm one of the people. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. A little bit frantic today, so I'm a little late to start. Had to run to the post office and do post office-y things. Shipped off a bunch of equipment down to Florida for Sarah Boone. Fingers crossed we've got everything lined up properly there, hopefully. Wow, I'm like transparent. I'm feeling like I'm only half here. Why would that be? I feel like my name should be Casper today. I think I'm going to be a Casper. Let's see if I can't even fix that today. I've got the one cable. Hang on. Wait, I can fix it. Hang on. I can't fix it. Has anyone seen a spare USB-C to USB-C cable somewhere? Because I need to plug in a. I've got all my cables plugged in. Hold tight. Let's listen to some sweet, beautiful music this morning. Let's see. Let's listen to this while I look for a cable. All right. We found the cable. Now we just need to see if it'll work. Let's plug it in over here. That's the last place available to plug anything in. Allow accessory to connect. I'm going to say yes on that one. And let's run some software. Okay, it's working. Slowly. Can we play verdict music? I need to wake up a little, says Ashley. It would confuse people. It would really confuse people. Okay, that works. All right, so let's go back to our main screen and let's adjust this key live on the air, see what we can get it to do. Nope. Maybe. A little more background. Oh, that's the wrong way. Okay, I'm back again, but now we need the background gone. Does that look good? I'm all here? Oh, yeah, I'm feeling good. All right. Now I'm in the wrong corner. Let's run to A over here. There we go. All right, now we're ready. Finally. I tell you, this is typical. This is typical of my life right now. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Welcome. just want to make sure I'm not missing court as well. Okay, we'll get that sorted here in just a second. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna fade this music off just a little bit. All right, there we go. Good music. But I have to say, good morning, welcome. We made it all the way to...
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day! Welcome to Wednesday. Oh, that was a bad one. Don't even come in. Yeah. Yes? 2 thumbs down. 2 thumbs down. 3 out of 10 says, what did you say? Don't? Terrible. 2 thumbs down, terrible, would not recommend. That's my son. Appreciate your support. Love you too. Good luck paying for college. Okay. Sharon, thank you very much for coming into the birthday stuff. This is a tough crowd today. Apple Watch noise alert, says Greeners. It's too loud. It's too loud. It is Wednesday. We made it halfway through the work week. We're about to get started in court. Give us a minute. We'll be there shortly. We do have to... The adopted one will not approve. Did not approve. He's not adopted either. Nor are we putting him up for adoption. Roof still not fixed. Second contractor on the way. Friend came by, gave us a little information on that. Not able to help. His schedule is really busy, so we're going to have to pay for somebody. But we're hoping for the cheaper of the 2 contractors. So... Greeners comes in with buffer internet ownership. What does that mean? Just kidding. Greeners, congratulations. First in chat again today. I see you. See what I did? I see you there first in chat. Greeners, congratulations. The internet, my friend, is all yours. But you know the feeling. It's familiar for you because you've won many times before and probably will win many times in the future. All due to skill and possibly a little bit of cheating, which I have not quite figured out. But welcome. We are going to sing happy birthday to Luis, Andriella Hillis, both celebrating their birthdays today. Contractor on the way. Yeah, I'm crying about that one. I told Mrs. R, I said, I could fix it for that, right? I could fix it. Sorry, chat's not on the screen. There we go. Here's Greeners with I see you today. There's chat on the screen. I'm sorry for missing that. I told Mrs. R.A., I said, I could fix it for that money. You could pay me and I'd do it. The idea of me fixing the roof appeals to me. I'm like, I can see that happening. But then when I actually envisioned the steps required, like me climbing the ladder, not even me carrying the 70 pounds of shingles on my shoulder as I climbed the ladder, but me just climbing the ladder, getting up on the roof, pulling the ladder up to that level, putting it up on the next roof, and going, it wasn't going to happen. It was not going to happen. And so reality set in. I took a big gulp of pride and swallowed it and said, yeah, we need to pay somebody to get up there because there's no way I'm getting up there to fix the roof. I will get up in the attic. That's as far as I will go. But yes. All right. Let's get ready to sing happy birthday to and if they fall off the roof, they have insurance. That's the idea. You can fix the roof until you finally finish your bathroom. No, I can't fix. I've got one bathroom done, almost minus the last luxury installment on the toilet, where we're talking about the car wash for the bathroom. Anyway, let's get ready. Let's sing happy birthday on that note. Everyone, warm up with me if you will. We're going to sing to Luis and Andriella Hillis. It seems loud today. Is it just me? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Luis and Andriella Hillis. Happy birthday to you. Nosy Rosie says, stop, no warm up. No warm up. That sounded awful. Let's do a round 2. Everyone, warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. Okay, now let's try this again. Try this again, everyone. Deep breath this time. Give it your all. One more time. Happy birthday to... much better. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Luis and Adriella Hillis. Happy birthday to you. So much better. You guys, Luis, Adriella Hillis, thank you. I'm sure you appreciate us giving it a round 2. A take 2 on the birthday song. The first one, without a warm-up, was a little rough on the edges. I heard a little cracking. A few people just couldn't quite reach the high notes. One of you was straining a little too low on that octave jump, but after the warm-up, it sounded beautiful. Beautiful. All right, happy birthday. I realize there are a million places you could be, a million people you could be with, but you've chosen to be here with us, Luis, Adriella Hillis. Have a great day. Have a great day with free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, McDonald's, Waffle House. Not Waffle House. All the other ones. Have a happy birthday. Hopefully we can make your day a little bit more specialer. All right. Donnie, does Karen want you to use her credit card? Donnie's looking for Karen's credit card. I can't find Karen's credit cards to membership, he says. A crime is about to be committed, and it might end up in another crime once it's discovered. All right. Hang on one second. This is the last verse. You hear the drum cue? That's the cue, right? So everyone get your air drums out. We're going to finish this birthday song in style with all playing air drums wherever we are, even if you're driving. Steer with your knees just for a second. No, don't really. I can do it, but you don't. Here we go. And on that note, we have a phone call.
Call from
Thal, my friend. How are you doing?
Good morning and happy birthday, Andreas Hillis. Yes. Happy birthday.
There you go.
Amazing. Yep. I just had an interesting excursion into, if there's AI out there you can use to make videos, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought for my new channel, that,
it sounds somebody like a bad idea
better
already.
call Saul. Oh, it is. It's a terrible one. So I was like, I'll do Supreme Court cases.
Nice.
So I got the Department of Education versus Illinois, I think it is, or Louisiana, whatever it was. Anyway,
a gripping
so
case.
I did that.
Gripping case. We're all probably following that one.
Well, I figured if I put the Supreme Court cases out there and I make a little AI video about it, just on a baseline of where it's at, people can better understand it and kind of wrap their brains around what's going on, and all that. So I dumped that prompt in, and I had to walk Skynet off the ledge.
That bad, eh?
It was throwing inflammatory language in there, and it was reaching conclusatory statements, and I'm like, whoa, stop.
That sounds great. Yeah, run with that one. Just make sure you flag your channel as content created electronically, and then you're good.
Well, YouTube doesn't care. They just, they don't want you. The main rules around YouTube are don't impersonate others is what they don't want you doing.
I think they're going to care. I think they're going to care. They've warned me. Not warned me, but they've said, hey, if you ever have any content that's AI created, you need to flag it. So just be aware.
Yeah. Well, no, you have to put that little sticker on it, but you're fine other than that.
Oh yeah. They don't care what it is as long as you announce that there's some AI stuff in there. You're good. So
yeah, it was just so interesting though. Their RA that because I thought you feed something into AI and I'd get a pretty. I thought I'd have to add some colorful language, kind of make it more interesting, kind of all this stuff. AI, and I had to walk it back off the ledge. I was like, "What are you doing?"
It's become its own. It's a thing unto itself, and it's pretty wild. Some of that AI. I mean, we watched iRobot and we're like, well, this isn't very believable. Yeah, one of us. Yeah. Guess what? We're there, and you were experiencing an automobile accident with your AI. So that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was, but it was like I had to flip things out like and I put no, that's Biden's thing. That's fine, but let's make this fair statements throughout. You know what I mean?
Make it equal.
But I had to keep going back and correcting the script to make it fair. Instead of making a conclusatory statements, I'm like, no, stop it.
Next thing you know, Pickles not politics, but next thing you know, AI is just going to vote for you and make it easier for everybody. So, on that note, we've gone way too far into the political realm. Right
I'm just waiting for the day when I wake up and I'm just waiting for the day when AI goes, look, everybody, I voted for you. Don't worry about it. It's like, wait, whoa.
I voted for everyone. Awesome. Paul, good luck with your channel. Sounds great.
Thanks. Oh, and one more time.
Yeah.
I want to wish Edrius Hillis a happy birthday. She's amazing. And Calypso and Vixen, I love you. I just haven't been in chat very often. I've been busy, but I still love you, dear.
How do you show the love?
I'll get on the phone.
How do you show the love if you're not ever there for her?
Well, that's because I'm there in spirit.
I'll give you that one.
Every time she gets annoyed, that's me.
Sounds good. Paul, thank you very much. We'll catch you again soon, I'm sure.
All right, see you, boss.
We'll see you. Bye. Thal, good friend of the channel. Getting us in trouble first thing in the morning. All right. Welcome. I ran to the post office this morning as we wait for court to start. See, I'm late, but court's late too, so it's as if I wasn't late. Ran to the post office this morning. For those, it's not really a secret, but Trial TV Live, great friends that we've met here on the interweb. You'll see them in chat quite a bit. They've got a channel on YouTube dedicated to openness, transparency in the court system. They do things very similar to us, only without commentary, so just clean feeds. And we saw that we were sort of aligned in purpose, and they're down there by Sarah Boone, and they're like, well, I can go to Sarah Boone. And I said, well, I've got the equipment, and we called around, made it. I just mailed off about $4,000 worth of equipment down to Trial TV Live. It should get there Friday, same time the storm does, and we've got we're working on all the fronts. So the idea is we're going to have them in the courtroom taking a live feed from Sarah Boone, pushing that to Top Mark Media, which then we're going to have a couple people are going to have access to. We're working on that, and from that. Obviously, Trial TV Live will be preserving a copy on their channel. I'll be using it for a live commentary on my channel, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So, all right. But we got all the details and packages sent off this morning. So, with lots of bubble pack. Ashley says, I have access. You have access to Sarah Boone? Or what do you have access to, Ashley? Do you have media access, or just are you going to go to court? What? I'm curious. Ashley's a big help. She's actually one of our moderators on Top Mark. Oh, to Top Mark Media. Yes, you're one of our mods, one of our stellar mods on Top Mark Media. I appreciate that. Cooperation makes it happen. I agree. I think there's a lot. There's a lot of competition in the world. I mean, everywhere you go, whose car is faster, whose is newer, who's shinier, who gets there first, first prize for the winner. There is a lot that can be done with cooperating and corroborating. And I think this helps everybody out. So I'm super excited. It's been great working with Aaron and Chris. Excited for them, for their channel, for the growth they're seeing and the plans they have, because they're really well organized. I apologize to them profusely because I am not. So I think that would make a great team. But anyway, we're looking forward to Sarah Boone and possibly some more stuff here in the future as well. All right. I know people who know people everywhere. Josh, you're on the short list. You don't know this, Josh, but we've got you on a short list already. We've got big plans for you. We've got big plans. So we'll talk soon. Let's see. Josh, I think as soon as I start recovering from the vacation, both financially and physically, we've got some gear coming your way. I think is going to be the first thing we're going to do. All right. Cough drop in mouth is helping soothe the hump day cheer, which is great. It looks like we're just getting started for court. That, I believe, is our cameraman. I'm almost positive that's our cameraman. So, and he's a poor guy, working his butt off here under the worst of circumstances. Let me get everything synced up and working. I told you I was going to do some homework last night. Full disclosure, I did not. Apparently I lied. I'm sorry. But But we don't have Corey Richens this morning. We don't have time. I know it was like 40-something minutes long, but not gonna happen. Is this the cameraman responsible for the crotch shots and nice shoe shots? Yes. Although I should have not probably said crotch shots, but yes. He's working within the rules that the judge has set, and they say either show the hands or show the feet or waist down or below the shoulders. No TV till you get your homework done. Thal, I will accept that in a heartbeat. I don't have a TV. I mean, I have a TV, but it doesn't receive any signal. I don't have an antenna. I don't have cable. I don't have a TV. I just have internet. That keeps me happy. This guy is definitely on the phone about the cables. Let's see. Sorry, what else do you call them? Hey, good morning. Yeah, you're live. Yeah, go on. What? Oh, well, I'll switch. There you go. Now you're live. Look. See, adopted child is now trapped in the corner. Doesn't want to be on camera. He's hiding behind this monitor. You can see him under there. He's all right, fine. I'll let you out. Oh, just kidding. All right, back. All right, Jackie Coulter, good morning. Member for 5 months. Thank you very much, says RA. Thank you for the birthday messages. On Monday, I was away on hiking camping trip. That's a great birthday. But back home and ready to watch court. Sounds good. Hope you had a fabulous birthday. And hiking and camping is a great thing to do on a birthday. Kim says hi, little adopted RA. He says hi back. This has been an interesting court, and part of what's interesting is how uninteresting parts of it have been. There's our clip-on tie bailiff, which apparently all the bailiffs wear clip-on ties for security reasons. Thank you, Ricky Watson, for that little gem. They would wear a proper tie, but I guess you could get strangled by a tie, if you think about it. You wouldn't want that to happen. All right. This courtroom needs some Barry White music pumped in over the speakers. Just a quick copyright strike. John says, I'm just 45 minutes from the court. Should I go there and get you some insight? John, if I would say this, don't take off work that you weren't planning on doing. But if you're available and to have interest, I recommend to everyone to go to court and to watch it. It is a different experience when you're in the room. It's one thing to see it on TV and, oh, there's the judge and there's the lawyers. It's another thing to be sitting on the bench and hear the bailiff call you to order and just being on the edge of your seat, trying to follow what's happening. It's an incredible experience. And I would love it if you were able to go and give us some insight, especially about some of the things we can't see. Obviously, the gallery is sort of off limits on this trial because of the judge's ruling. The jury, we've seen 5 of them already, but and one of their shoes. Judge pops in with no robes on. Yep, you get to see all that. Today is Happy Daughter's Day. Happy Daughter's Day. Motor Mom, happy Daughter's Day to you, and I guess to your daughter, if you have one, or maybe you're the daughter, so you're being celebrated. I'm sure you're a daughter, but all right. Ashley says I watched my cousin Vinny for the first time last night. Nice. Now maybe if you can convince Weather Watch to watch Star Wars, we'll all be good. Tom Taz says, Recovery Addict, quick question. How long is your front row? Every morning I check in. You put me in my reserved seat. I'm not in the front row. However, you tell others the same. Am I being naive? No, it is all the front row. We do have the longest front row in all the true crime courts. The Court of Public Opinion here has just an amazing front bench. Thal, using up his 3 calls very quickly.
Call from
Thal, halfway through, number 2. What's up?
I just called so they start court. No, what was the verdict on that one girl that shot her mom?
Guilty.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
And life sentence.
Ooh, life. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. I figured that was going to happen because the thing that caught me for that one was the when they said the camera in the kitchen was taken down. I was like, that's preemptive. What?
Yeah. Well, it was taken down after. but it was hidden. So.
Yeah, that's what did it for me on that case. I was like, okay, that's weird. And the defense got up there, and I never heard them say anything about the camera, nothing. And I'm like, you guys got to explain that.
Yeah, I will say there are going to be some appeals on this. I think the state would have had a stronger appeal because of that decision the judge made early on where he said, look, I don't like it, but this is the way the courts are. I'm encouraging both sides to appeal no matter what happens. I think there are going to be some appeals in that case, and this might not be the end. Considering it,
okay.
It is
well, I mean, she
a young girl sentenced to life in prison. I think this is one that maybe the Supreme Court might want to look at and make a final ruling in an area where currently the appellate courts might have muddied the water a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the thing is too, isn't with people that are charged that when they're minors they're charged as adults even with life sentences. I was going to say, isn't it regular practice to appeal this to the ends of the earth, pretty much?
It's pretty much regular practice in almost anyone's case when they get sentenced to a life sentence to appeal. It's one of your only options, really. You can sit and wait to die, or you can appeal, and you can reach out to the Innocence Project or something like that. But it happens in pretty much every case. Most cases that do appeal don't get heard; they get denied. The appeal gets denied.
Yeah, I was just really surprised that we had a minor in this case and they went with life. That kind of made me take a step back when I heard that. I was like, wow. They
looked at that and said, we're charging her as an adult, and so an adult would be facing life sentence as well. Melanie Little did an interview with the attorney, the girl's attorney, and so if you want some insight into the defense side of what they're thinking and now, get a watch on that one, Melanie, the interview. And that'll give you some insight. Well, it didn't work.
I was busy working on my channel and making shorts. Okay, the thing you should be doing, but you don't want to do because you're just copping out of it because you never did your homework in the first place. So I understand now why you wouldn't do shorts. Okay,
I don't know how to upload a short.
Now, Scott. Okay,
I don't know how to upload a short. That's my problem.
Sure you don't.
Teach me your ways, O wise one.
The evidence is piling up, buddy. You don't do your homework, and then you don't do shorts, and now it's just piling up now. Okay, it's piling up. I think we need to get Miss RA in here to get you a little motivation there.
Trial TV Live will tell you that I was doing a lot of homework yesterday. We were on the phone. I've ordered press passes, all sorts of things. We've done a ton of work. And it was pretty much all night from when we ended to when I went to bed. And then this morning, got up, ran to the post office. My one package didn't work, had to split up the packages. $3,500 worth of insurance on those packages.
Ooh.
So hopefully the mailman drops them because then I get a new one. But
I'm just giving you a hard time, RA, because it's fun.
Blackbird Squeaks, we'll have to talk. I don't know. I want to. I think Cashette's going to help me with my shorts. I mean, my short videos.
There's a. You got a pen on you, real quick. This will take 2 seconds. Okay, so write down Canva, CAN.
I've got Canva.
VA.
I've got Canva. That's
you got Canva?
How we do our thumbnails.
Yeah, Canva is the same way you do shorts. You just hit the mobile button instead of the. On your home screen, just hit the mobile button and then slap and paste the short into that, and then expand it and download it, and bang, you're good to go.
I use
YouTube automatically recognizes
desktop version of Canva.
No, me too.
So I'm looking.
So we go to Canva. Hold on, I'll open it. I'll open it up too. So yeah, on the top there should be what we designed today. There's that banner, okay, and then under it you have mobile, doc, whiteboard, presentation, social media. Video, print, website. You want to go to mobile video. Click on that. It comes up with that little box that looks like a. Okay.
I don't have that.
Tell me when you're there. You don't have that?
No.
Hold on.
Okay,
hang on. Canva.com. Just go to Canva.com. What are you using?
Okay, hang on. I was in my projects. Canva all glowed up. Do you have all glowed up?
Huh?
The Canva came up with a thing that said you're included in the new all glowed up Canva or something. So I might have a different version than you. So a video.
You might. I don't know.
You want to do a video?
I got Canva. I'm at Canva.com is the one I use.
Me too. You know what? I have this thing on a computer where I can actually show you what's on my screen.
Okay, so show me what's on the screen real quick. Yeah. Okay. So, you don't have it.
This is the pro version. So.
Okay, because the one I got, where it says doc, there's a button to the left that says mobile video.
Okay, I'll do some hunting and see if I can find it.
And you don't have that button. That's interesting.
But we'll get it.
But maybe social media? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Instagram posts, those posts, TikTok, YouTube and thumbnail, YouTube banner. Where's it?
YouTube thumbnail, YouTube intro.
Yeah, anyway, you need to get mobile video on your thing. On that home screen, you need to get the mobile video.
Oh, I've got it.
If you can get that button, that'll let you automatically do shorts.
I just drop a video in. Because if I just drop a video in, maybe that'll work. Let's see. This tech lesson brought to you by Thal. We're watching RA create shorts in real time. So Thal, what I'm doing right now is I'm using our new keyboard. Did I show you my new keyboard?
No, you didn't. No, you haven't. I haven't seen this new keyboard. I would show you mine, but mine costs $14 from Walmart, so it's not very special.
This one right here. It's a DaVinci Resolve replay editor.
Oh my God, that is pretty.
I can edit timeline. I can watch replays, slow motion, everything. I can do it all from right here. So I'm using this, take the live feed, and every time there's something that happens, I just hit point of interest and run it down to my timeline, and it clips it immediately, and I can hit a button, and it exports a video. So maybe if I just drop that in Canva, it'll work. So anyway,
okay.
I'm also looking at putting out these clips, just taking the clips and highlighting them and putting them on a shared Blackmagic cloud doc that a few of trusted editors have access to, where they can post some things for me as well. So.
Well, and 6-volt bus has a good point. It also has a shortcut key for Panda Express. So
yes, always. All right, what's Thal's channel? Says 7.
It's a terrible channel. It's 40K Warhammer channel.
There you go. 40K Warhammer. Is that the name?
Well, it's just Thal.
So if you search,
the channel's just my name. It's just Thal. THALL.
There you go. All right, Thal. 2 out of 3. You've used up 2 out of 3. You do have one more call allotted to you today, so use it.
Yes, sir.
Wisely. Use it wisely.
I won't.
Good talking to you. It didn't work, by the way. You called, you talked. Court did not start, so we're still.
I'm sorry. I tried. I tried weaving my magic for you, bud.
We'll see if one of the mods can put your channel name in chat real quick, so people can take a look at the stuff you do. So.
All right, boss.
All right.
I'll throw it at I'll throw it at one of the mods. All right.
Thanks. We'll see you. Bye. All right. Still here, still waiting for court to begin. Weather Watch. Podcast tomorrow, by the way. This topic might come up. Weather Watch says, I would like to point out that a dozen or so of folks in chat have spoken out about not seeing Star Wars either. Yes, but they spoke about that as a child before they saw Star Wars.
Call from
Thal.
This is not Thal. How are you doing?
Yeah, can you just tell Saul if he's going to AI my voice like he did yesterday afternoon, just to be a little bit more funny? My reputation's on the line.
Okay,
thanks. Have a good day. Have a good day. I love you.
Bye. Donnie, the real Donnie, not the AI version of Donnie. A couple people haven't seen Star Wars. Let's see. That's it. Your quota's done for the day. That one counts for Thal. Donnie counted against Thal. That's funny. Couple people have never watched Star Wars. Star Wars poll, please. Only because we're waiting. Okay, let's do a quick poll. Have you seen any meaning of the Star Wars films? There's the question. Yes. And the last option. There we go. All right. The poll is going up right now. There's our Star Wars poll. It's quite scientific. Feel free to place yourself in whichever category you need to vote in. I might have skewed the poll one direction or another. Weather Watch refusing to vote. Refusing. I don't know why. I mean, it's quite. I mean, I think I covered all the categories. I gave you 3 options. Yes, they were informative. I'm currently watching them, or no, but I promised to binge watch. But I think some people are clicking the no button and then realizing the last part. They jumped in on the no, and now they're tied to it. Denise says, Weather Watch must watch Star Wars today. It's Mark Hamill's birthday. It's fate. It must happen. The Force wants you to watch Weather Watch. I will say today is probably not going to be the day that Weather Watch watches Star Wars, or tomorrow, because although he's working. First of all, Weather Watch is working. He works full time. He's got a job that requires him to do stuff. He also has a hurricane off the coast there in the Gulf that might be distracting him just a little teensy bit. So I'm thinking Star Wars is not going to slide into his playlist quite yet. Let's try that again. May the Force be with you. Jedi Jen, thank you. Welcome. No, and I won't binge. Okay, so I might have... Lol comes in. 40K Warhammer greater than Star Wars. Just saying. Weather Watch says weather is better than Star Wars. When Star Wars first came out, the people that were in it, they're like, this is silly. This is goofy. And it almost had like a cult following first, and now it's like canon. Had a friend in high school tried to force me to watch it, so I refused, and still, to this day, because I'm stubborn, no one tells me what to do, says Tisha. I have to admit, I don't like all of them. I was raised on blue milk. So something just exploded in the house. Not sure what that was. I think the kids know, though, so we're all right. All right, let's start the recording for today. Just going to be Hyperdeck Shuttle 4. Do a new timeline. All right. I'll go ahead and end this poll. I'm sorry. It was not nice of me, but I'm just saying that, I mean, we had a couple hundred votes, and I'd say almost 50 people today just agreed to binge watch Star Wars. So, let's see. I was 18 and new assistant manager at Wolco when Star Wars first came out. I was dating a Star Wars fanatic, and I had the large models, like the life-size ones, right? Is it legally binding? No, it's not. How many Star Wars films are there? I count all the Star Wars films before she became a Disney princess as Star Wars films. Before, like, Princess Leia was a Disney princess. Too many, says Sixfold. That's like saying there are too many Rocky films. What I watch on a more agreeable note, can you share with us a little bit of information about the storm that's coming in? Because I keep getting updates saying something's happening, and I haven't been able to follow it. It's a weird one. Normally, what I've seen from the track, normally the storm, even if it comes up through the Gulf, it'll sort of curve out to the Atlantic. But this one seems to be like going back central. Like it goes up and takes a left. Thomas, how are you doing this morning?
Your wish is my command.
May the force be with you.
Click.
What force of category? I'm sorry. What category of storm is are we facing?
Yeah, so it'll be deemed a major hurricane, which likely is going to be 3. I believe even a category 2 is deemed major hurricane, and that's based off of wind speeds, versus tornadoes are rated based off of damage after the fact. So the other caveat with this, outside of it just being a damaging hurricane, the size of the storm. So I think as of this morning, 62 out of 67 counties in the state of Florida were under a state of emergency. And that's because those that aren't in the path are still on what they call the dirty side of the hurricane, are still going to see mass flooding events throughout it. So this is a pretty big deal.
That's huge. I'm thinking my package that's getting delivered to Florida on Friday might be delayed.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. There's flights are already being delayed or canceled, diverted. I know there's cruises and things that are out there, or they're being delayed and pushed back. The other thing with the storm, as it's going to continue on its path after landfall, it's going to barrel right into central Georgia. And I know they're already expecting rain today. And so tomorrow, when that starts to come through Georgia, it'll be much, much later into Thursday night, early Friday morning. They're going to see mass flooding events right there, probably even in Atlanta Metro.
I can already see in my head the footage as we see when a city just gets inundated with water like that, and all the cars that are, stalled, and every time there's a little dip in the depression and they try to drive through it and it gets too deep, all the rescues that are going on, people canoeing down main roads that normally have heavy traffic. It's gonna be nuts. Please stay safe.
Yes, and I wish people would. And I know people try to make light out of really bad situations, and like you said, the people canoeing down streets and things like that. But that is so dangerous to do because of the stuff that's in that water, not just debris, but the bacteria and things that come with it.
You don't want to swim in this.
It's a terrible idea.
You get a little in your eyes, nose, mouth, ears, something, and suddenly you have a friend for life, and it's not very long.
And it's not a best friend.
Nope.
That's for sure.
It's a parasitic relationship for sure. The water's not safe. Of course, that brings on the issue of it basically contaminates all the drinking water in the area. Oftentimes, so now is the time to be prepared. It's not the time to prepare. Now is the time to be prepared. If you're not, do everything you can to prepare. So, and stay safe.
Yep. On those Florida coastlines, they're talking about you have to have everything prepared and done and handled to prepare for the storm and be ready by early tomorrow morning, because it's going to be tomorrow evening. It's expected landfall. And because of its strength as it makes landfall and continues inland, of course, it'll decrease a little bit in strength, but it's still going to be a tropical storm that's over land, which you're talking power outages, you're talking trees down on houses and cars. So hundreds of miles inland is going to be affected by the storm. And the path that's keeping it to just shoot straight up into central Georgia, so you've got a high pressure system right off to the east of it, and then you've got a low pressure system that's right off to the left of it. And the way they spin in the northern hemisphere, counterclockwise for your low and clockwise for your high. So it's almost like bumpers in bowling, where it's keeping it on that path going up instead of making a hard right.
So we're gonna have a row of tornadoes, right? Just like a wall of them.
Yes, I think the Storm Prediction Center already has the predictions, and not warnings yet, But there's mesoscale discussions on what they call the dirty side of the hurricane. So that's going to be on the eastern and northeastern side. So yes, that is going to come with it as well.
Yeah. This is affecting a massive, I mean, one way or another, a massive portion of the United States population. This storm, it's tons of people are gonna feel this, and it's gonna be, well, once it spins out over the central, it's gonna sort of, eventually it will get pushed out to the east, right? Everything sort of makes its way from west to east.
Yeah, it eventually, right, because it'll follow that jet stream. The big issue you have as it comes over land, it then becomes, like we said, a little bit weaker, but there's still so much moisture within that system, and then it starts to stall. Yeah. So now you're talking about these massive rainfalls of a storm that just sits over an area, and they're talking about some places are going to see a foot of rain in under 24 hours. That is unbelievable amount of water.
Yep. That's when you need to sprout gills. I mean, honestly, it's hard to survive. Very few places in the country are equipped to handle that amount of rain and shed it and like let it go without there being, you know, mudslides, landslides, or more major flooding. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, something's got to give way, and unfortunately, that's people's property and things like that. So, what's going to be really telling, outside of the video footage that's going to be out there, you know, all this, every storm chaser that I know in the country is down in that area already waiting. But come Friday morning, when you open up the U.S. power outage map and seeing how many customers are affected, that number is going to be astronomical.
And how many commas there are in that number. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So. That's wild. Well, we've got, I'm sending my live view down there. Maybe Trial TV Live will say, hey, court's canceled because the hurricane will hit the road. Start showing you footage. We'll see what happens.
Does that insurance policy you got for shipping carry for water damage as well?
Oh, now you mention
it. Yeah. But in all seriousness, no, this is a big deal. I know those, I've seen it on the Facebook groups that are here in chat as well, that are in those areas that are going to be affected. They're all watching it. They're all talking amongst themselves. So that's fantastic. It's no secret that it's a pretty big event. But please, if you do have the opportunity to relocate yourself or help anyone else, do it, because it's not trying to overhype the weather or the storm. It is what it is. It's going to be a big event, unfortunately.
So just as a favor to Josh Hutchins, he says, how many inches of rain will I get? I live in north central Georgia.
So that's one of the places that are calling for a potential foot of rain in under 24 hours. So
Josh,
it's a lot.
You're gonna need a poncho. You're gonna need a poncho, minimum, bare minimum. Please stay safe, yeah. Josh. We joke a little bit, only because it's in its seriousness. You don't want to cry, so please, we'll be thinking of you, man.
Britta Aller says when it's supposed to make landfall, it's projected to make landfall tomorrow evening. The last report I saw, which was really early this morning, was somewhere around 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, with the storm and the size it is and the distance traveling, you know, that could be a few hours either side of that 8 p.m. timeline, but definitely sometime tomorrow evening.
Yeah. Crazy. I don't know. We might have to cancel the show when I start taking hurricane cleanup calls instead. So, which I can't do on the air, unfortunately, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, you used to do that, didn't you, for a different company?
It's all volunteer. I don't get paid for it, but I was the number one call taker for, I forgot, was it Ian? I think it was Ian. I took more calls than anybody else. They sent me a free shirt. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was cool, but it was also, you know, just devastatingly sad, you know, having people call in, you know, a week and a half, 2 weeks after the storm's gone through. We're still taking calls, and they're saying, you know, nobody's come by to help. Nobody's come by to check on me. My roof is gone. There's mold growing everywhere. I have medical conditions. I can't get out. No, just had, it was heartbreaking at the same time, but just a lot of them, even in the dire physical situation they were in, they just needed somebody to talk to. And being able to be that person and just say, you know, there is help. I'm sorry it's not there yet, but there is, you know, we're thinking of you, we're praying for you, and just give them a little comfort. It was like, you know, this has just made my day. They're like, this has made my day. Thank you. I'm like, your house is destroyed. Okay, you're sitting in stagnant water. You have nothing to eat, and they're saying thank you, and it was amazing. But
yeah, Incredible. It's sad. So quick update right now. Helene is currently still a tropical storm, but it's projected to become a hurricane roughly around 1 o'clock today. And from that point, as it moves, it'll kind of track northeast a little bit, and it's looking by sometime maybe around midnight tonight, it increases to Category 2 hurricane. And then the projection, again, would be by midday tomorrow being Category 3. And then as it continues trekking on, it'll be Category 3 as it runs into the Florida coast. They're now projecting it to remain a Category 1 hurricane. As it's in the southwestern part of Georgia, somewhere around midnight tomorrow night or a little later. So just shows the strength of what it is.
Crazy. I'm getting some pictures sent from Carolina Beach from the last storm saying we don't need any more water, and it's cars driving through just flooded streets and standing water around homes. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. Thomas, thank you, my friend. I know we're scheduled to do the podcast tomorrow. If for some reason you feel that it would be more beneficial to do something more weather related, I would be 100% on board with that. So don't think you need to do the podcast in an urgent time like that. So
okay, we'll talk about it as the day goes on tomorrow.
Awesome. All right.
So
well, two long calls and no judge yet. So I don't know what it will take to get court started. Apparently, my wife will have to come in and start sharing some opinions. I think that's the only way. The only way they'll come in and start. Thomas, have a great day today. Good talking to you, my friend.
All right.
All right.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's see. 1 second here. It's supposed to start in 5 minutes, which means they'll start in about 25 minutes. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Call from
Fall, the real fall.
How do I know it's the real one?
What do you mean? How do you know it's the real one? Get your shorts done, and then you can come back and get me with this. See, that's how you know.
AI is so good these days.
It's true. No, but I used to work on an emergency repair crew.
Mm-hmm.
Where we did flood work, amongst other things. We also did railroad repairs. And just to remind people about how dangerous floods can be, because we did a lot of flood work. We had trucks that would drive down a road. We had a flood that covered 146 acres. This was like 12 years ago. But we went out down there, and we had guys just right and left getting ditched into the water. Remember, if you can't see the road when you're driving over the road, if you're driving on the road and the water is flooded over that road, do not drive on that road.
Turn around.
Take a different route.
Don't drown.
Yeah, because the thing is, we lost, I think, 4 work trucks, and these are experienced people in flood work. These guys aren't Muppets. They're knowledgeable, and they would drive over that stuff, and their truck would disappear because the ground underneath was 6 foot buried, was rugged out.
Yeah.
So you got to be really, really careful. We had another guy that fell in. Due to some of this being farmland, some of the pesticides and whatnot got into that water, made it pretty nasty and toxic. He had to have some skin grafts. We had another guy that fell in, got really sick and got hospitalized. So I just like everybody just a quick reminder to everybody, please be safe, please be careful. It may just look like water. It may not look that tough or be that, look that bad or that deep, but this stuff is extremely deceptive. So just please, everybody be careful and watch your butts. Okay.
That was worth a third call. That was worth it.
That's all I had to really say.
I might give you a pass for a fourth one because the quality of this call was so high.
It's just
the message is important.
I spent 3 years working for them, and I saw all kinds of just nonsense and accidents and people that were, we found one couple that was up on the roof of their house that we got down with a excavator. And they were sure that their sandbags would hold up, and they were sure that they were going to be fine. And their house was under 6 feet of water by the time we got to them. They'd been up there for, I think, 2 or 3 days.
Nature is relentless,
so
and when there's a storm, you can't fight it. It is stronger. It is more persistent. It is deadly, and it does not care. It does not care. It will.
No.
It doesn't care. Your mom with a kid, or a seasoned veteran, I don't know, gladiator. It doesn't care. So just be safe. Just be safe. It's not worth it. Turn around. Don't drown. Prepare. Do everything you can. You follow your emergency plan, and then stay informed. Listen with your emergency radios and everything, and do what the officials. If they tell you to evacuate, evacuate. It may be expensive. It may be inconvenient, but there's a reason.
Yeah, and it may seem not worth it. I ran into a lot of people that were like, "Oh, this place floods all the time. That's not this big deal. It's not important." For Mary Murphy, I'm in Nebraska. And to the point, this is a lot of people treat the flooding like they treat us Nebraskans treat a tornado. Most people go and hide. Nebraskans will walk outside, look at it, and be like, "Oh, it's not coming this way." So, I mean, it happens a lot. So.
It's only an F2. It's only an F2. I'm going to keep mowing the lawn.
Yeah, that's
and
that's exactly how it is. So
a lot of people.
I get it. I'm not trying to down on anybody. I'm just saying, just please be careful. Please watch your dot your I's and cross your T's. Yeah. I'd rather have you safe and looking foolish that nothing happened than have you in a bad position.
Yep.
So
we'd hate to hear bad news about any one of you.
And Nebraska floods a lot too along the Missouri River, so we get floods sometimes too. So it's one of those things that water spills in and it'll go into Omaha and take out large sections. So we've had this happen before. So
I think like the number one killers as far as nature sort of related is flooding in Nebraska and corn silos. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
just kidding. So, there's a lot of corn in Nebraska, a ton of corn.
Yeah, but we had excavators fall into the water on that job. We had a lot of accidents. There was a lot of accidents, and a lot of people got hurt. So it's one of those things. And when we had people we were trying to help and get out of there, we had them get hurt. So it's one of those things that water is one of those prolonged dangers. Like a tornado will only last about 5 minutes, and then you'll come out and that's it. Yeah. Floods are kind of notorious for being they'll wait around. You know what I mean? They're like a 2-week long trap.
And there's
just
also
waiting
risks
to eat you up
after the flood with some of the effects of flooding afterwards that you have to take care of as well. That can also cause health problems. So, yeah. All right. On that note, let's talk about murder because I think court is about to begin. Thank you, Thal. Appreciate it.
There we go. I finally did it.
I'll give you a third. I'll give you a third. Well, they should begin, but they haven't. So we'll give you a third. An extra third.
Okay. Well, I tried anyway. So.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right.
We'll see you.
Bye. All right. We're on day. I think we're on day 3, right? We're on day 3 of this trial. Yeah, it's Wednesday, so it could only be day 3. We've had a couple interesting witnesses. I keep getting this ad pop up. I keep closing it over and over. Now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads, and the more viewers are watching. Give it a try. Close, close, close. It just keeps popping back up. If I misclick, you get an ad, but I don't think I misclicked, so you should be good. A popular YouTuber named Flair lives in Nebraska. He was hit by 2 separate tornadoes this year. Man. I mean, they say, lightning strikes are pretty rare, but getting hit by 2 tornadoes, that's also pretty rare. Can you recap day 2? Day 2, I think the important testimony we got was from the investigator one of the 2 investigators. He was the first one who retired sort of midway through this. But there wasn't really any mic drop moments. There were nothing the investigator had to say was really revelatory as far as the crime, because when you look at it, we pretty much saw everything that happened on video, and so everything the investigation turned up, some details that we couldn't see on video. For instance, there were 4 different calibers of firearms that were used in the shooting, 2 on one side and 2 on the other. So young Dolph's brother had a 9mm pistol, and then when he ran to the car, he grabbed a AR style rifle. I think it was a short rifle, and was firing 223s. The vehicle that pulled up and instigated this whole thing, the first Cornelius, as he got out, he was firing a 7.62 an AK style rifle, and then the driver, who was the defendant, Justin Johnson, he got out. He was firing a .40 caliber. So on the scene, there is a lot of different ammunition in 4 different calibers, and a lot of bullets. For just 7 to 10 seconds. I mean, it was a little bit longer because there's a video. Young Dolph's brother runs off the scene and fires probably 10 or so shots with the .223. But that was happened after. But most of the rest of the rounds were fired in about a 7-second period, which was really, really quick. Let's see. We did have was it the brother of the defendant testify? He's the one that was has pled guilty but has not been sentenced yet, and he's out on bond. That was interesting. So there's some interesting moments, but it hasn't been surprise. Mic drop. Here's the video is the big thing. Donnie is begging for a gift membership. Donnie, is your gift setting turned to accept memberships? Because if it is, in 6 days, basically a week from tomorrow, I'll have some 10 memberships to give away, and that could be you. So. Detective Ed says, my rule is category 2 and below, stay home. That can work well if you're not in an area that floods with heavy rain, because some of the smaller storms that are big in size just dump tons of rain. That's the flooding is the big risk there. Janice, thanks for chiming in. A little late, but welcome always on the birthdays. You missed the song. I'm sure you did the dance, though. Frosty Jen just gifted a membership. Thank you very much. That one went to Mary Murphy. Congratulations, Mary. Looks like our bailiffs are in. They're all wearing their clip-on ties, ready for the day. It seems the defendant should be coming out right now. Just doing the white shirt, no sweater today. He's got his envelope with his notes in it. The defendant does sit on the row behind counsel, does not sit at the table with counsel. First time I've seen that. I mean, the last time that happened was when we had someone that had to sit on the row behind was when counsel, let's see, what case was that? Counsel had an assistant that hadn't passed the bar. And so the judge wouldn't let him sit at the counsel table. Megan Easton gifted a membership. Congratulations to Laura Olson there. And Jennifer Jinper gifted a membership. Congratulations, Terry R. He's not in the VIP section of the courthouse. Right.
The break that you'll ask for, Mr. Evans, after the direct of Mr. Fairman's witness, will it be short, or do I need to excuse the jury for a few minutes?
I would ask probably just excuse them for a few minutes. And it won't be a long break. 10, 15 minutes.
That's fine. And that witness, your witness, is in court?
He is.
Okay. And that's okay with the state?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's an expert witness who's here. He's here to listen to the expert witness from the state, and we don't have a problem with that.
That's fine. All right. If there are no other matters to take up, we can bring in the jury. Well,
you will bring
the people from outside, the audience in. Do we have the audience in from outside? Okay.
Hang on. Okay. We're all synced up beautifully. super noisy today. Let's see if I can fix that a little bit. I haven't seen her either. I think something was happening at work that kept her busy. Lego, I'll go ahead and I'm going to put a late by your name, but I've got you down as being here. Thank you. Sure where the jury was, but they might be still riding the bus to get to court. He didn't make it. He passed away. Is that what you're asking about? I don't know where the court case is. Let's see if we can. Apparently they mailed a letter to the jury to let them know it's time to come to court. Just waiting for the letter to be received. Oh, here they come. It is a strange layout in court.
Jury is now entered to the courtroom, Your Honor.
Stand right here, sir. Raise your right hand facing your honor.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Have a seat. Will you sit, please?
Could you tell us your first and last name, please?
My first name is Mahaj. My last name is Abdullah.
And can you spell the first and last, please?
Yes, sir. My first name is spelled M-A''H-A''J''J. My last name is spelled A-B-D-U-L L-BAA-Q-EE.
Wow. That was not how I was going to guess it was spelled.
First, apologize for you having to be here because I'm going to take responsibility for it. Okay?
Well, you wrote the
extra
subpoena.
Witness to clear up a mistake from yesterday. Okay?
Yes, sir.
How are you employed?
I'm employed with the Memphis Police Department.
And how long have you been with the Memphis Police Department?
26 years.
2021, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to the homicide unit.
Did you have occasion to work on the case having to do with the murder of Adolph Thornton Jr., the rapper known as Dolph?
Yes, sir.
In particular, on November the 24th, and then on November the 26th of 2021, did you have occasion to go to the Crosstown building?
Yes, sir.
For what purpose?
We were attempting to see if there was video footage in connection with this investigation.
Did you speak with security there?
Yes.
Were you allowed to view video there?
Yes, sir.
Did you retrieve video from there?
Yes, sir, we did.
And was it accurate surveillance footage from the building?
Yes, sir.
From November the 16th and November the 17th?
Yes, sir.
Of 2021?
Yes, sir.
And was it one camera angle or many camera angles?
Many camera angles.
Okay. In fact, November the 26th, I'm looking at your supplement, you actually created a timeline of the various events that you witnessed on the surveillance tape. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
With the hour and the minute, and then what you observed.
Yes, sir.
For instance, at 2:41, the surveillance video shows a male wearing a black cap with a Bass Pro logo. You made that sort of timeline, is that right?
Yes, sir.
That accounted for, or did it account for the comings and goings of a suspect that I sort of just described with the Bass Pro hat?
Yes, sir.
Those videos that you viewed and that you obtained, did they have timestamps on them?
Yes, sir.
So when you watched the videos, you could see what time it was and you could see the time going as you watched it?
Yes, sir.
Those accurate timestamps?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did I explain to you earlier?
Judge, I will object to the answer about accuracy unless he can lay a foundation as to how he can know that.
We have an objection.
Did you review the footage with the security officers?
Yes, sir.
And when you reviewed that security footage, were you invited back to see where they had this footage and where they kept it and everything?
Yes, sir.
And did you observe the time on the video that you were, when you were back there, to be the true time of the security cameras?
Yes, sir.
Did I explain to you before you got on the stand how those videos were played to the jury?
Yes, sir.
Did I explain to you that each sort of event, let's say it's the man in the Bass Pro hat leaving the building at 2:40 a.m., okay, was shown as a reel, which would mean the individual, for instance, would walk to the elevator and be on the elevator camera. And then when he got in the elevator, it would switch to the inside the elevator camera.
Yes, sir.
And when he got to the lobby, it would switch to the lobby camera. And when he got to the parking area, it would switch to the parking camera.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you obtained the videos, though, you got videos of each separate camera. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did I explain to you that when you make a reel of the cameras, that the timestamps disappear and aren't part of the reel?
Yes, sir.
And did I tell you that to make up for that, a black screen was inserted in front of each of the events on the reel that had a date and time of what we were looking at?
Yes, sir.
Did I tell you that of the various events, that black screen was correct for all but one?
Yes, sir.
And did I tell you there was a mistake with regard to one of those reels?
Yes, sir.
And I want to take responsibility,
a lot of leading
for that. I want to show you and ask you if you recognize these to be the original videos, not made into a reel, that you obtained from Crosstown with regard to the suspect leaving directly before Dolph's homicide. Okay?
Okay.
And I don't know if you can see, can you see through the plastic to the green writing up top?
Yes, sir.
All right. What is that green writing up top?
The green writing up top says 8th floor W8 elevator, and it gives the, I'm looking at a date of 11/17/21 with time of 10:49 and 26 seconds, 28 seconds right now, a.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay. If you could stop it just for 1 second. That's 10:49 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Did I tell you that the black screen that we had seen previously said 11:49 or 11:41 was off an hour?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did I tell you that was a mistake?
Yes, sir.
And we'll take ownership of that mistake. Is this the true timestamp?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Off by an hour on the splash screen that had the explanation of what the video was for. Even though the timestamp itself was correct.
Judge, may we approach briefly?
Stop the camera.
Stop the camera. All right. This was a mistake on the prosecution's side that they're calling a new witness to clarify and to explain. This was not an escape mistake a witness said. It wasn't false testimony a witness gave. It was literally the information slate at the beginning of the video that they got wrong by an hour. And so they're now correcting the... Let's see what happens here.
The entire video not spliced into a reel. So we'll go on for another 20 seconds.
We're watching someone watch a video.
And the timestamp now is 10:51:14 a.m.
Yes, sir.
We'll go to the next camera. You see the timestamp on this one?
Yes, sir.
10:50 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Counter's up to 266 right now. It Who's the guy with all the jewelry? The witness here on the stand? Is he blinged out? I didn't see him. This is longer than 20 seconds.
We're ending that one. It is 10:51 a.m. and 47 seconds. 10:51:50. The next one. Yes, sir. It's 10:53. 10:55, turn it into 10:56. It was right at the 50-something seconds.
Cameraman's seeking a short break at an inopportune time.
5 seconds. Vehicle. It's 10:56 and 25 seconds. Camera at 10:56 and 50-something seconds.
Yes, sir.
Even though we've seen those videos before spliced together as a reel, since these have the true time and the true time stamp on it, not the error, I would like to introduce these into evidence under that State's Exhibit 5 that we're keeping open for digital evidence.
Objection cumulative? Just kidding.
Yes, sir. I'm a little confused as to how you're going to keep them separate. Tell me how you're going to keep them separate.
We have.
How they're going to be marked, I guess.
They're going to be labeled.
Okay.
And they're going to be labeled. So, for instance, on these, they're labeled timestamp included correct time. But if we need to also assign them A, B, C, D, and things like that.
And does that not need to coincide with the incorrect one? Or no? I'm just asking. Does that make sense?
When you say coincide, what do you mean? Because we can make.
So there's been a one shown yesterday with the wrong time. That's on this same.
Yes.
Right. So how are we going to know what this video coincides with the ones that were shown last week?
They have the time, they have the date and the time, and we know what happened is the real time is 10:50-ish.
Judge, can we approach?
Yes.
Now's not the time to ask for a mistrial, but you might get some mileage out of this. The state has submitted incorrect evidence. And they're trying to fix it by just submitting more evidence to say, actually, this is the right evidence. Weather Watch informing us that Helene is now a Category 1 hurricane. Unfortunately, that warm water in the Gulf just it's hurricane food is what it is. It feeds the hurricane and it just grows and grows until it makes landfall. Yeah, it's they've owned it. They've said this was our fault. But I think the jurors have the ability to understand a date mistake, time mistake that's got early on. Yeah, it's not going to, I don't think this would end. It's still, first of all, it's still in the state's case in chief. They have witness on the stand that can testify to this. So it's not like they've already released all the witnesses that could fix this. It's just, I think, more of a logistical issue for the judge, because I don't think you can delete evidence out of the record once you've shown it to the jury. All they can do is mark the new evidence and say, but this is the right one. Yeah, Virginia. This is not the time to make the trip to Florida. I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. They might get some mileage out of this a little bit. It might set the state back a tiny bit. It's like having a get out of jail free card. I guess that's a bad example.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We've watched sort of one event that you viewed on the Crowd Crosstown video. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we've watched the original video with the timestamp.
Is it a motion to substitute evidence?
The times that we saw were 10:49 to 10:56 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Approximately an hour and a half before the shooting.
Yes, sir.
You also watched other video, correct?
Yes, sir.
an earlier video from around 2:40 that morning when the suspect left the Crosstown complex. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you also watched a video from around 4:48 with the Mercedes arriving at the Crosstown complex. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you also watched a video from later that evening around 7:52 p.m. Of the suspect returning to Crosstown. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then a video around 8:17 p.m. of the suspect with luggage leaving the Crosstown concourse. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And as you watch these videos, did you also create a timeline of these events?
Yes, sir.
The witness has some comfy shoes on.
Back when you originally watched the videos, 11/24 and 11/26 of 2021.
Yes, sir.
Now I pass you this document and ask you what this is.
Oh, can I take a look at it?
Approach. You say he was going to object. I don't think it was clerical. This was in a slide they presented. Well, I guess that could be clerical. Like a Scrivener's error type thing? Is that the word? I think the shoes, the tie, polka dot tie, the suit coat, it's all one motif. I think they go together well. And they're comfy. They're comfy.
Those times I just read to you from that timeline, did you verify that those are the times when those things happened?
Yes, sir.
With the videos with the timestamps?
With the video with the timestamps.
Before they were ever put into reels or whatever?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you, Art. Good morning, Lieutenant.
Good morning, sir.
You doing all right today?
Well, are you?
Doing well, doing well. So I've just got a few questions for you. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
So you were asked some questions about obtaining the Crosstown videos, and I think you said that you went on November 24th to try to obtain video from Crosstown and the 26th?
Yes, sir.
Did you go twice because you weren't able to get them the first time and had to go back, or were you able to get some the first time and some the second time?
We were not able to get anything initially because they had to have a technician to actually retrieve the video. What we did, we went in and reviewed, and I say we, I'm talking about my partner, Sergeant West, and I. We went in and we reviewed within a certain time frame, which was from, I think we reviewed from 2:30 to about 11 o'clock was our time frame of review. And we went and reviewed those time frames and had bookmarks done.
Okay.
Once the bookmarks was done of videos from each section or part of camera view at Crosstown Concourse, then their technician came in later and downloaded those bookmarks for us.
Fair to say that the system that you're watching these videos is a computer system?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Not like old school VCRs, tapes running, a wall or anything, right?
No, sir.
Okay. And I'm sure in your long career in law enforcement, you've collected a lot of surveillance video.
Yes, sir.
From different locations. And you would agree with me that it's not uncommon for surveillance video timestamps to be inaccurate.
That's true.
Right? And I think you said the way that you went about trying to confirm accuracy was by looking at the time when you were there and looking at the video and saying it was the same, like those times matched. If you're there on the 24th at 2 p.m., you looked up at the system and it said on the video it was the 24th at 2 p.m.
Yeah, we compared the live view.
The live view.
Yes, sir.
But you would agree with me, you weren't watching the live view on November 17th or November 16th when these concourse videos were actually being recorded, correct?
No, we were not.
You're going back and reviewing an archived video format of those, correct?
Yes or no?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. You don't have to apologize. Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you.
And truth be told, you can't, whether it was the live view was accurate, right? You can't say whether it was accurate on the 17th, right? Because all you did was look on the 24th and go, my watch says it's 2 p.m. on the 24th. I'm making up that time just as an example. And the live view shows it as 2 p.m. on the 24th. Therefore, this must be accurate. That's right.
Yes, we use a live view to check and see if the cameras were accurate during that time before we did the bookmarks.
But that test alone doesn't tell you whether or not it's accurate on November 17th and November 16th. You would have to agree with me, right?
Yes.
So you can't say that these timestamps are accurate as to what occurred on November 16th or 17th, right? Because you don't know if the system was rebooted, malfunctioned, something happened. You can't speak to any of that.
I cannot tell you if anything happened to that system. I can only tell you that when we did our initial view, as far as live view is concerned, we compared, and that's been our best practice to do each and every time we download video to make sure that there is no differentiation between hour, minutes, sometimes, because sometimes it can be a 30-minute time loop or an hour time loop. That's why we do the live view best practice before we begin that review.
All right, and that's something, because especially on a system like this, that's something that, computer technician would have to tell you, right? Someone familiar with the system that audits the system or works on the system or at least is qualified and knows the system. Correct?
To let us know if there was a time loop or there was an inaccuracy. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, and you didn't have that. You didn't have that information.
Well, we had the computer technician with us at the time because he was the one that had to download all the footage that we had bookmarked. So yes, there was someone there to let us know that this is the time.
Right, but other than saying we've booked, because you said you bookmarked it, other than saying we've bookmarked these times, did you ever say, was there any issue with the system? Do you know these times to be accurate?
That was never a question answered.
All right, you just based that on the live time?
Yes. All right. His ability to tell us that we were in live time and it was accurate during the time in which we started the preparation of bookmarking.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Oh, 1 second. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, did that fix the problem?
Call your next witness.
This will be Michael Gardner.
Next witness, Michael Gardner. We'll put the counter back on the screen if and when we need it. Leave it right here for now. Court reporter matching the style and colors of the courtroom is epic. I love that.
Step up there, sir. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And Steve, watch your step.
Tell us your name, please.
Michael Garner.
And spell the first and last name for the record, please.
Michaelgarner.
Garner, not Gardner. Good focus.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm a criminal investigator, special agent with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
And how long have you been with TBI?
Only 3 months.
Because you were with MPD before that, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I retired in June after 20 years.
20 years MPD, and now you're at TBI?
Yes, sir.
At some point during your service at MPD, did you become involved in digital forensics?
Yes, sir. In 2018, I was assigned to the organized crime unit, and some digital evidence came in, and they needed a computer guy to look at it, and that's when I started in digital forensics, which became full-time in July of 2020.
So about 6 or 7 years ago, you got your start in this.
Yes, sir.
And then full-time at MPD, what does a digital forensics person do?
We extracted evidence from mobile devices, GPS monitors, car infotainment centers, and reported those findings out to the investigators working the cases, sir.
Did you receive and have you received special training to do that sort of job?
Yes, sir. In both digital forensics and cellular technologies. Started with cellular technologies in 2012 and got my first certifications in 2014 with a PATC Tech. And then in 2015, I started working with the electronic surveillance and communication intercepts, and I got certified on PLX through a company called Penlink, and did a lot of call detail record analysis with PLX. And then working digital forensics, we like to try and marry the cellular technologies from the cell phone carriers with the device itself. So then I started working with applications like CellHawk and of course, forensic applications like Celebrite and Madden that would pull the data from the device and look at the CDRs and just put
Celebrite
those
has entered the
for a
chat.
complete picture of like a digital footprint.
And is there still training that you do? You keep updated on this?
Yes, sir. This technology changes quite often. You can tell the last couple of years with 4G going to 5G, and about every 2 months, I continue education with sometimes 1 hour blocks, but often 3 hour blocks of instructions on just the evolving technologies. And that's both through Penlink with their systems and vendor neutral through PATC Tech.
I'm going to have you explain what some of this is, but before you testified, you handed me a list, I guess, of your training hours on various digital forensic things. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How many hours of training have you had?
Almost 1,300 hours.
Almost 1,300 hours.
Yes, sir.
And that is actual training that's not. You also do your job too, right?
Yes, sir. That is outside the scope of my work. Yes, sir.
All right. With regard to what we're going to be talking about here is cell phones, and we've mentioned it already, call detail records.
Yes, sir.
Quickly, I know that you have you have a presentation that helps explain the technology.
Yes, sir.
If you could just sort of quickly tell me what we mean by call detail records, if you would.
This attorney saying quickly,
sign up for
the irony
service
is
to a
crazy.
cell company. You've got an account at that company, and they can monitor the usage of that account, and that reporting out that we receive is the call detail records. And it's just the records of your calls, incoming, outgoing, text messages, your data usage, and they break it down so that you can be billed properly, and they can make a little bit of money, and you get real good service.
Do some of these call detail records have tower information on it?
Yes, sir.
And what do we mean by tower information? What am I trying to say when I say tower information?
So the cell tower is what we're talking about here. Your cell phone uses radio waves, much like a walkie-talkie or a can and two strings when you were little.
Can and two strings.
But it's a wireless communication from that device to a tower that then relays that communication to whether you called another cell phone or a landline or another country. And those communications are logged with the company.
Someone like you, do y'all have access to like where these towers are?
Yes, sir. The cell site database I get through the FBI, a website that I have to register through, and they verify me as a law enforcement officer. And when Sprint bought, when AT&T bought Sprint, they merged their towers. They turned some of the towers off. So every time you look at a case, you want to look at the towers during that time frame, because the towers are always changing. And I get that list of towers and the list of changes from the FBI website called Indicat.
And so in your job, are you sometimes asked to look at call detail records that have tower information and attempt to determine approximate areas that particular device could be located in at a certain time?
Yes, sir, quite often.
And are you able to do that?
If the data is there, absolutely, yes, sir.
And have you done that one time, or have you done that a lot?
I've done that almost 1,000 times.
Carol, you're correct. He said AT&T bought Sprint. That is false.
Yes, sir.
T-Mobile merged with Sprint in 2020.
Part of your job now at TBI?
Yes, sir.
Was a lot of that training, those hours, spent on that sort of concept or that practice?
Over a third of those hours are in cellular technology. Yes, sir.
Have you had occasion in the courts of Shelby County to testify as an expert on these call detail records, emphasis on location, before?
Yes, sir, I have.
One time or multiple times?
Multiple times.
State court and federal court?
Federal court was digital forensics, not cellular technology. But yes, sir.
With digital forensics, would that include extractions from cell phones?
Yes, sir.
And what is an extraction from a cell phone?
This is, we take the device, and if we are able with our software and technologies, we make a complete copy, if possible, of everything that's on that device. And then we take a copy of that, make a copy, and then we analyze that copy of what we pulled from the phone.
And to do that, do you have to be trained in the various programs and everything that extract information?
Yes, sir.
And trained how to look at it?
Yes, sir.
And have you received that training and those certifications?
I have. There's some of the other hours in there. Received training from both the vendors of the softwares that we use, things like Magnet and Celebrite, Gray Shift, and then non-vendor training through IASIS and the NCFI in Hoover, Alabama, through the Secret Service.
Your Honor, I would tender this witness, Mr. Gardner, as an expert in call detail analysis, emphasis on location, and digital forensics.
No objection.
Tell me what that tender was else we need?
Well, I'm not saying I got it right? Call detail records, emphasis in this case on location, and digital forensics.
I didn't hear a lot about location in this testimony.
An extra copy of it?
So I qualify this witness, Mr. Garner, as an expert in the area of call detail records with an emphasis in location in digital, what was that last word?
Digital forensics.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
That's all right.
I'm struggling with the technology over here as y'all speak. Mr. Honor, have you prepared a report with regard to this case?
Yes, sir.
Let me pass you this. You just verify this is your report.
Yes, sir.
All right. I guess we should go ahead and mark that as states and somebody's.
No objection.
You know how many pages?
76.
All right, it's a 76-page document.
Is it 76 minus 3 or is it 76?
76 minus 3 is 73.
73-page document.
It's 76? Is it 76 minus 3?
Investigation, cybercrime and digital evidence report prepared by Special Agent Michael Garner. We'll mark this as a collective exhibit number 64.
Return that to the witness. And if we can publish this as I ask Agent Garner questions. We managed to get it on the computer up here, so
oh, nice.
Ahead of the game.
I have a view.
I just see the title page with regard to this case. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me skip to the next. You can go ahead.
All right. So during my presentation, I just did want to show these slides of me just mapping out where a cell tower location is and the antenna. I kind of want to teach you about what I'm talking about here, and kind of an overview of cellular technology and how it works. Because some people think you hit send on the phone and it goes to a satellite and then comes down. They do have satellite phones, but that's not what we're talking about here today. And then I'm going to go over the requested information of me, what they had asked of me, and then my analysis, and then the mapping of those records. And here they're just going to kind of go over the cellular technology that I've had hundreds of hours of training in. There you go. So we see these when we're driving down the interstate or we're pulling in the grocery store. So that is a cell tower, cell site location, base transceiver station. What we really are interested in is the tops of them. They're called heads. And those little white rectangles, those are antenna. You might see 3. You could see as many as 9 facing one direction. It all depends on the topographical area and the population of that area. The more cell phones, the more coverage you need, the more antennas the better service they can be provided for you. So they want to keep you as their customer. So, and then the next slide, when I talked about, we don't want to have the thought that just because it's a radio wave, how does that work? Unless a device is calling another device on the same tower, all these radio waves actually touch copper. It's like our phones in our house when we're used to wired phones. That actually touches copper. It goes from the phone to the tower, to the base station controller, and all that's doing is these computers are looking for the number that you called. If it's not there, it moves to the next one. And all of these towers keeping record of the phones that it's communicating with, this entire network is run by computers that know where the device is. That's how they can connect a call so quickly. But they can't all be connected wirelessly. So they hit the gateway goes to copper. And this copper line is how we can connect multiple switches together, and switches contain lots of cell towers. That way we can have a wireless network that's actually got a backbone built on phone cables. And so even though we're using a wireless device, it's actually touching copper. It's actually going to copper. So it doesn't go into space and it doesn't come down. And anywhere where you don't have a cell tower, you're not going to have cell coverage. So if you're out in the ocean, for example, and it sounds kind of silly, but you want to think, if you see the cell tower, that's going to have a cellular communication. So this is how the network routes your call. And each of these computers maintains a log of the phone numbers, and that's part of the call detail records that we get back. Now that rectangular antenna that you see on that tower head, it broadcasts a radio signal. And in a lab, in a laboratory environment, that is what that antenna is broadcasting in a perfect environment. It's about a 120 degree spread, and it broadcasts out. But it also has a little bit on the side and some on the back. But that's in a perfect lab environment. This is usually what, if you requested what a particular antenna, what its frequency broadcast is, you would get a graph much like this. And based on that graph, they build the cellular networks much like a honeycomb from a beehive because it's very strong. And you get overlapping signals. So in case one side of a tower gets full or there's a building in the way, a lot of trees, another side of another tower can cover that weak area. So they overlap these sectors, again, to give you the best service so they can make money. Because if you're unhappy, you're going to leave your carrier. You don't make any money that way. So they design these cell sites to maximize coverage for you. And that's how they're set up to broadcast, just like a honeycomb. And that little black triangle right in the center, that is one tower broadcasting in 3 different directions.
You're going to leave your carrier unless you're stuck with your carrier. It's too much trouble. Shame.
If you're unhappy, there's no too much trouble, sir. So this is a mapping from an old case I've done, and I just wanted to show you what my mapping software, or what some of our mapping software is going to report out. And so what it's showing you is it's accessing a side of the tower. It's showing a 120 degree angle, and then that shaded area, that is there by the software to catch your eye and let you know, and let me know as a person analyzing it, that that's the direction the antenna is broadcasting. So it's not to tell you where the device is. We're just talking about which way are the radio frequencies that was communicating with the device, which way was it pointing. That's all that shaded area is.
So if I'm looking at this thing right now, my tower is this thing right here, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you talked about like 120 degrees sort of coverage. That's going to be this.
That line there, so that is 120 degrees.
And you're talking about the shaded area here.
Is that part?
Is for, I guess I'd call it illustrative purposes or something?
Yes.
Does that mean that there could be if there's a cell phone using the cell phone out here is not going to use that tower? Can you see my? You may not be able to see my.
I cannot see. I'm sorry. Can you shake it a little bit?
Can you see? Okay, you see it?
Yes, sir.
Does that mean if I got a cell phone like right out of here, that it's not going to use that tower?
technically, if that cell phone accessed that tower, it is using that tower. So I can tell you it's using the tower, but I can't tell you where it is, where it's using it from.
Okay, I guess I was trying to figure out, when you said it's to catch our eye, I think why'd you say this area here was to catch our eye?
I want your eye to know that the phone was accessing that tower from that direction.
Okay. And I guess that's why I'm asking it, because that shows more than a direction. That shows a boundary.
It shows an area. Okay. And that shaded area is just to draw the eye more towards, it's coming from that area instead of behind it.
Okay. So is this bound? So I'm trying to just get things straight. Is this boundary a strict boundary when we start?
Not.
Absolutely not. Okay. No, that's what I thought. Okay. So this is illustrative of sort of an area or a direction. But this boundary very well may extend a little further or a little less, not be perfectly arc-shaped, and maybe.
Yes, sir. That boundary has absolutely nothing to do with the cell site coverage. Nothing at all. It is put in by the software just as illustrative, just to know which direction that antenna was pointing and broadcasting.
I understand the point of that.
Yes, sir. And then the next slide. This is actually what a cell site broadcasting looks like. That is 2 cell sites broadcasting 2 different sectors, and that topmost antenna is in red, that bottommost is in blue, and you can see how they overlap each other and bleed over in each other and have that side lobe and the back. So like he was saying, that where was this device, because this is from an actual case but not this case, where was the device that when it was accessing that tower? If it's the red, it's somewhere inside that shaded red area. When it accessed the blue tower, the tower I have labeled as blue, I'm sorry, it's somewhere in the blue. So I can't tell you where it was. I just know that it accessed that tower within that tower's coverage area. And I'm saying tower. Right now we're looking at this, we're looking at one antenna on a tower. So we're looking at the broadcast coverage of an antenna on that top tower and broadcast for one antenna on that bottom tower. You can see how it overlaps.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying about overlap. Like, this thing's going to go out, and this thing's going to go out, and they're going to overlap each other.
Yes, sir.
What are the colors here? I don't understand this. So there's this brighter red pink thing, and then there's purple.
That purple is the mixture of that blue and that pink.
I got you. All right. So this light blue down here
is the bottom tower.
Okay. And then the pink is the top tower.
Yes, sir.
But where they overlap is the purple.
Yes, sir.
So now we see that we're never dealing. It doesn't look like we're ever going to be dealing with straight lines or straight arcs and just 120 degrees.
Never. No, sir.
Okay. And it looks like we're also going to be dealing with multiple towers at the same time.
Yes, sir. And that 120 degree arc, you can see on the pink, there's some behind it, and there's some on the side of it. So that tower, those radio frequencies are actually bleeding back behind. So you can be behind that tower and still connect to the opposite face. It all depends on the traffic of that tower. And these maps, that mapping was done at a specific date and time. It will change based on weather. It's rainy, the tower's not going to go out as far. We have a music fest downtown. They're going to shrink, they're going to turn down the strength of the tower so that it encompasses a smaller area, because you have more people in a smaller area. So these towers, they breathe. The range of the tower, that could be maximum, and then they can turn down the power and it would be smaller.
So I'm going to ask a question that may skip ahead, but I just want to go ahead and ask it. For what I'm getting already from this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you or anybody's not going to be able to pinpoint exactly where a cell phone is in terms of a meter or 2 meters or 10 meters or 20 meters at any particular time?
No, sir.
Okay. What I'm getting is that we're talking about areas.
Yes, sir.
What I'm getting is you could tell me whether or not his cell phone is in this area, and this is an area downtown called Uptown, okay, and not in Midtown over here.
And one thing to point out that I left out is all those little blue dots in there. Those are other cell towers. So
that can help me exclude where I'm looking.
Absolutely. Because a cell phone it's not going to grab the nearest tower. It's going to communicate with the nearest available tower. If that tower is, if you think of a tower as a cup of water, if it has too many transactions going on that it can't hold anymore, that tower will let you skip it and you will grab the next one that's available to it. But you're probably not going to skip 3 towers because the probability of those towers being full at that exact point in time. So
I'm probably, you can see where my cursor is right here?
You would be closer to the towers than you would be out there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so if I'm accessing one of these 2 towers right here, right, then my phone's probably not 4 or 5 towers over right here.
Correct.
Okay, I got you.
And especially looking at this map, that little blob of pink down at the bottom right-hand corner is coming from that tower at the top. But there's, how many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 towers from that tower to that blob. If that device is in that blob, it's probably not going to grab that tower that's up at the top. It's going to grab one of the ones that's closer to it.
We're going to interrupt this gripping description of cell tower function.
Yes, sir.
To show you live footage of Floridians preparing for the storm.
A few of these things. The coverage is never perfect.
Right here.
Things like Bill.
Oh wait, no, they're just being Floridians. They're just walking around, doing what they do, enjoying the beach. That's all. Just kidding. I don't know where this is at. It's going
to be based on the population, the terrain, the number of towers around it.
We're back.
Because the device is always going to grab the nearest available tower, closest available, not the closest available. And with that,
do we begin your work on this case?
Yes, sir. All right. Just want to make sure that these pages. Okay. Yes, sir.
At some point during this investigation, did you receive call detail records for phones relating to the investigation of the murder of young Dolph?
I did.
Ooh, got one.
In particular, did you receive call detail records for a telephone that was identified to you as belonging to Justin Johnson?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you receive call detail records for a phone identified to you as belonging to Cornelius Smith?
Yes, sir.
Did those call detail records have what I'm calling tower or location information?
They did, yes, sir.
Were you asked certain questions? Do we ask you certain questions about what you could determine about those phones?
Yes, sir.
All right. You can begin.
So in February of this year, I met with Attorney Hagerman and the case investigator, Jesse Browning, and they gave me call detail records on this 901-236-1625. They were received by a search warrant by the investigator on the case in December of 2021.
For the record, is that the phone that was described to you as belonging to Justin Johnson?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then they'd asked me to look over these records on November 17th, 2021, between 1 a.m. and 10 p.m. on November 17th. and that was the analysis done on the 2360. In April of this year, they brought me another phone number related to Cornelius Smith, 901-513-6236.
867-5309.
Again, they were obtained by a search warrant in December of 2021, and on this device, they only asked a time frame of November 17th between 11 a.m. and 10 p.m., so not as many hours on the second phone number. This is very, very difficult to see from this angle, so you're probably going to not be able to make all this out. But this is an overview of Shelby County, Memphis, Tennessee, with the locations that they had given to me with retards. At these dates and times, these locations are important. Can you overlap the cell records to show movements? And
let me go ahead and interrupt you and try to walk us through just location for a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just what we have here. We have people not from Memphis to start. Okay.
Copy that.
Mississippi River. Downtown Memphis, is that right?
Yes, sir.
This is probably about where we are, right about here or something, is that right? I think that's the bridge.
Oh, okay, I see the cursor. I couldn't see it, I apologize.
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
that is correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Downtown Memphis. I go up here to my green dot here. It's a few miles away. Is that Crosstown Concourse?
Yes, sir.
There actually is a yellow line that connects. It's just probably impossible to see from where they are. And if I go to my next thing here, this is East Memphis.
This looks like a footprint analysis of a herd of turkeys, a flock of turkeys walking in the mud.
Gas station?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? I go here to the red dot, South Memphis. This is near the airport. This is the homicide scene at 2370 Airways.
Yes, it's a herd of turkeys. What's a group of turkeys called? Is it a flock?
Further south, we have Whitehaven over here. Further south, the Gospel Garden Apartments. Used to be 2A apartments.
Yes, sir.
All right, so South Memphis, homicide scene, technically South Memphis. You familiar with the neighborhood Orange Mound?
Yes, sir.
In Orange Mound.
Gaggle.
Valero gas station.
It's a gaggle of
University of Memphis. East Memphis.
Dinner of turkeys.
Crosstown next to downtown, a few miles from where we're at.
Yes, sir.
And all this, so you go back to tell me what we're looking at here. What's all this stuff?
So I loaded the call detail records in an application called PLX by PenLink. And I did that so I can pull up every cell tower within 10 miles of, of Memphis, Tennessee, dead center, not downtown, but kind of dead center of Memphis, Tennessee. And based on the cell site list that I got from Indicac, there were 563 T-Mobile towers within 10 miles of Memphis, Tennessee. But based on all of those towers, we're going to look at the ones that the device accessed during the time frame that was requested of me. That was just a zoomed in location for the homicide scene on Airways that was just north of the airport.
Okay, so this is McKee's Cookies.
Yes, sir.
Airways Boulevard?
Yes, sir.
So the phones are going to do these suspects in, I think. You can get rid of the guns, but if you don't get rid of the phones, you brought the phones with you on the job. Big data doesn't lie.
Might as well. We had a couple slides that became not relevant, and so we've taken them out. So,
yes, sir.
But they're still in the computer, so we're fast forwarding, basically.
We just admitted 73 pages of evidence, and now it's not relevant, and you're not going to show the jury.
Okay, will you take back up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is a screenshot of the document that we received from T-Mobile. This is one of the first pages of the call detail records. And what we've got here is the name and address of the subscriber, this top red box.
We're giving away his name and
address.
address.
Back to the period guy and the address of 2667 Pfizer.
Why don't you read it for those of us
that... The activation and termination dates of this account. So when was this account created? And the activation date was on...
We have a call. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Mary. How are you?
I am doing okay.
Great. We have been reported that you had a minor car accident in the last 2 years, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't worry. I will connect your call in the verification department. He will guide you further, okay?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, thank you so much for connecting with Auto Claim Solutions on a recorded line. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
That's great. Good to hear about that. I believe you had an auto accident happen with you recently, which was not your fault. Is this correct?
I did have an accident.
Sorry?
I did have an accident.
When was it happen?
2.5 months ago.
How the accident happened?
I had just been at McDonald's. Are you familiar with the Greenville Boulevard Road?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was in the McDonald's at Greenville Boulevard, and the person that was taking our order, it was taking forever. I had been there, it was like 20 minutes. I was taking my order, and all the kids in the back, they wanted like milkshakes, and everyone wanted fries, and then they changed the order a couple times, and they got it wrong, and we had to go through twice through the drive-through. And when they finally, I was just, after being in the line that long and then having things wrong, it was just like, it was a terrible day. And we were pulling out onto Greenville Boulevard. Pardon? Hello?
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Okay.
Yes, go on. I'm listening.
Okay. So we were pulling out, and my wife had given me the double, there's a lot of noise. My wife had given me the double quarter, and I had ordered the Big Mac at that point. So I was pulling out, and I had to go back in, and I was able to do a U-turn.
Why are you telling me this type of story? Can you please tell me how it happened?
This is what was happened when the accident happened. That's what we were doing.
No problem. Thank you. Have a
Okay. I'm sorry. Why you tell me this type of story? Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry. We're going back to court now. Sorry.
We
didn't miss anything.
We were outside of daylight savings, so our time zone here in Memphis, Tennessee, is UTC -6. Spring forward, fall back. So I adjusted the call detail records to our local time zone. I did not leave them in UTC time. And then the second phone number, the 901-513-6236, again, these records were received from T-Mobile in UTC.
I was making that up on the fly.
On them as well.
We don't go to McDonald's as a family.
Only question asked on this phone number were between the hours of 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. What towers were being accessed by this device?
You guys want the end of the story? I don't know. I was making it up.
Activity on the device.
I was going to see how I was going to see how many times he was going to let me go through the drive-through without without hanging up on me. I was getting to 3. So
because there was nothing to look at after 5 p.m. So 5 p.m., 10 p.m. there was nothing.
And this is the Cornelius Smith phone?
Yes, sir. So these were the tools that I used to look at this information. I used a program, it's a web-based, called ExcelHawk. I used Microsoft Excel because the records come in a TXT format or a PDF. But I can make a copy, and then I can change the time zone to reflect local easily in Microsoft Excel, and also used PLX by Pinlink, and those are the versions of software that I used on this case.
Lots of...
When these files are opened up in Excel, they are actually pretty wide. So we hide a couple of the rows when we're not trying to use that information because it's not relative to the investigation. We can hide out the device ID, the IMSI, the IMEI, and so what you've got across the top, and you can't see it, and that's why we use really big monitors, because these fonts are so small, and the rows across the top are pulled from the records. And what you've got is the date and time, and then I changed it from UTC to Central Standard. The duration of the call, and the duration is how long that call lasted. The direction of the call, was it leaving the mobile device or incoming or outgoing? Then the azimuth of the cell tower that was used. The azimuth is the dead center of that antenna of that 120 degrees. Then that azimuth, you're going to have 60 degrees to the left of it, 60 degrees to the right. So that's the dead center of that antenna. But as we've seen, that antenna can be more than 120. But the cell company knows the azimuth of that antenna. They're reporting that to us. Then the location of the cell tower used, they provide it in 2 different ways to us. They give us the latitude and longitude of the exact tower, and that is perfect. Because a lot of times you see a tower out in the middle of a field. That field has a physical address on a road, but that's not where the tower is. So they give us the latitude and longitude of that tower, so we can walk right to it using GPS if we had to repair it. But they also give us the physical address of the tower, which would be the address of the road that it's numbered off of. And they're usually not going to be in the same spot. The physical address is where you would go, and you would see the tower somewhere on that property.
I have a couple questions, and maybe stuff to get to, but I don't want to forget them, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask them. You mentioned duration of the call.
Yes, sir.
So if I see a call between one person and another person on these call detail records, and let's say it's 8 seconds or 10 seconds or 12 seconds or whatever the time is, does that mean those people talk for 8 seconds or 10 seconds or 12 seconds?
It means you hit the send button and then hit the end button. That's the duration of that call. Whether there was communication between 2 people or a voicemail being left, or you called and you listened to somebody's voicemail, I don't really feel like leaving a message, end. That's the duration of that call.
So the duration doesn't actually mean 2 people necessarily talking to each other?
Correct.
The second thing is we're talking about calls. Is this same sort of stuff done for like text messages and stuff?
Yes, sir. On the T-Mobile network, though, text messages don't have cell site location. It's routed through the network, but they don't tell you which tower it was using. So now we're looking at calls and data sessions.
I got you. So with text messages, we're more limited on T-Mobile.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get to the good stuff here. Let's break down the records. This puts the people at the crime scenes.
We're looking at the phone number 901-236-1625, which belongs to Justin Johnson.
It's the defendant.
And from 1 a.m. to 2:35 a.m., this device accessed a tower. Now, this is where we're talking about the shaded area. The shaded area is just showing which direction the antenna was broadcasting its radio signals. It just happened to cover the crosstown, which you see. I dropped a pin in there to denote the location of the crosstown. So that device was accessing that tower, and of course it was providing coverage for that location from 1 a.m. to 2:35 a.m.
And so let me ask a couple of things here. First of all, it's almost impossible to see from where they're sitting, but this red dot here is the crosstown concourse?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you say from 1 a.m. to 2:35. Does that mean there is one phone call that lasts an hour and 35 minutes?
No, sir. The transactions that were reported, the events, the calls are on the next slide, sir.
Okay, very good. Switch to the next slide.
And we can only map the data if it's there. So if there's a transaction that doesn't have a latitude and a longitude, we can't map it. So what we're looking at is what I could map. And there were 12 different events, like all mobile outgoing incoming calls between 1 a.m. and 2:35 a.m. And all of those accessed that tower during that time frame.
I got you. So here's the list of calls, incoming and outgoing, and the ones that we have information on all hit that tower that covers crosstown?
Yes, sir.
And is it fair to say you would not be able to say if that phone is on the 8th floor of the concourse or the 2nd floor of the concourse?
No way to know, sir.
Wouldn't be able to say whether or not it's inside concourse or in the parking lot?
No way to know.
Wouldn't be able to say if it's in the parking lot of concourse or the street to the north or the south, the east, or the west?
No, sir. No way.
Okay. But in the area of the crosstown concourse?
Yes, sir.
Between 1 a.m. and 2:35 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So this slide that you're looking at here, at 3:17 and 1800ths of a second a.m., the device accessed a tower on the T-Mobile network. Tower number is 65667.
It's not hundredths of a second. 3:17 and 18 seconds.
Of 180. That just means it hit the south antenna of that tower. And that was an outgoing call going to 901-210-0852, and it lasted 1 minute and 43 seconds. And that tower provides coverage for the area of the Valero gas station.
All right, we're talking about entirely a separate area of Memphis, right?
Yes, sir.
So
the University of Memphis area.
University of Memphis is right here. So the Valero station, that was marked here.
It's the green pin. Yes,
green
sir.
Green pin.
Yes, sir.
The green pin here is Valero station, and we're so far away from crosstown that this is not on this map. Is that
It is
right?
not. No, sir.
It's going to be up and over here somewhere. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that highlighted road right there was the data that I mapped. That's from the records, and it was that was that outgoing call to 210-08-867-5309. That lasted for 1 minute and 43 seconds.
At 3:17 a.m.
Yes, sir.
At that time, the device is in an area with the tower that includes the Valero gas station and parking island.
Yes, sir. And at 4:49 a.m., the device accessed another T-Mobile tower, 65695, sector 64, azimuth 300, which is facing kind of north-northeast, with an outgoing call to 901-728-2851, and that call lasted for 21 seconds. And that tower is just south of the crosstown concourse that I have a pin dropped Yes, sir.
Is this the green thing, Carl? Yeah. Could the green here's Crosstown?
Yes, sir.
Is this a same tower or different tower as before when the phones in the area of Crosstown?
That is a different tower.
Does that mean necessarily that the phone's not in the same place as it was before?
It just, that tower provides coverage for the Crosstown, same as the tower before, sir.
Okay, so the coverage for Crosstown is going to be more than one tower?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with both of these, the tower we saw before and the tower we just saw could provide coverage to Crosstown?
It could, yes, sir.
Okay.
And this was the transaction that I mapped the outgoing call to 728-2851 that lasted 21 seconds. Then we go from 4:49 a.m. The next information that I could map was not until 9:56 a.m. later that morning. And there was an outgoing call to 901-728-2851 that lasted for 94 seconds. And that call, access tower 11903 with sector 3, azimuth 260, facing west, kind of southwest, angled down. And that tower provides coverage for the Crosstown concourse that I have a pin dropped. It's inside the shaded area as well.
That's at 9:56 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Start Bill Lady, thank you very much.
And this was the transaction
We'll
that I
get
mapped
through this.
out.
There's not much longer of
calls
this.
that connect to that tower. 2 outgoing calls, 404-662-8744 that lasted 69 seconds. And
Everyone's
then,
phone numbers have been outed.
888-111-2663 that lasted 66 seconds. And according to the service codes from the provider, service code 04251, that initial call was placed on hold. Those other calls were answered, and then they had a conference call together. So you had a 3-way calling going on.
Okay, so there was a 3-way call from the device. I'm looking for the time board. Is it 350? Is it 9:57?
Yes, sir. That was 9:56, 53, and then the others at 9:57, 17, and then 9:57, 23. Then there was an outgoing voice call made to 901-201-9581 at 11:30 and 13 seconds. That access tower 65731, sector 13, azimuth 300, just facing kind of northwest. That lasted for 112 seconds, which is 1 minute and 52 seconds. And that tower is south of the Crosstown concourse, and it appears that device has left the air of the Crosstown. This tower is south of.
Crosstown's not on this map anymore, but
no, sir.
It would be north of
yes, sir.
North of this map. Is that right?
That's right.
So this would not be a tower that provided coverage to Crosstown.
Correct.
And this is at 11:30.
11:30 and 13 seconds.
Okay, so by 11:30, the device has left the Crosstown area.
Yes, sir. It's accessing towers that are south of the Crosstown. Then this is a screenshot of the raw data of the tower that I just mapped with the outgoing call to 201-9581 that lasted for 112 seconds. And there was an outgoing call to 901-246-0101 at 12:06:07 p.m. That access tower 158660 sector 3 azimuth 290, and that antenna is facing west-southwest, and that lasted for 3 seconds. And then an incoming call from 901-315-9866 at 12:09 that access tower 165641 sector 132 azimuth 145 facing southeast. There was no duration on that call. Those two calls access the towers that are facing each other, the antennas that are facing each other from those two towers.
Okay, so we have two calls right there, 2 or 3 minutes apart, 12:06 and 12:09, and they're accessing these two towers, which are
Yes, sir.
near each other, pointed next to each other.
The antennas are pointed almost directly at each other, providing coverage for that area.
Okay, and do we have any pins? Do we have any pins for things we've seen before on this map?
There is a pin, but it's off map. That's the area of Lamar and Sims. The Valero gas station is not on there. It's too zoomed in too close to see the homicide scene, or because that's the writing on the left is the end of the homicide scene marker.
The writing on the left.
That highlighted to the left of the screenshot, towards the bottom left corner.
Bottom left corner?
Come up just a hair. Come up.
Oh, here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the homicide scene?
That's the pin that I put on the map notating the homicide scene.
And you got it cut off because I guess it's right here?
Yes, sir.
So we're in
We're east of the homicide scene.
We're slightly east of the homicide scene.
Yes, sir.
Crosstown's way north.
Yes, sir.
Downtown's way west.
Way west. Yes, sir.
All right, can we wrap this up?
And then next slide, that's the data that I mapped on the slide before, the towers that were accessed.
The data that was mapped.
And then at 12:17,
we're getting close to homicide time, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Somewhere between 12:21 and 12:23 or 4?
Yes, sir. And we've got an outgoing call to 901-519-1799, and that device access tower 164286, sector 131 with an azimuth of 90, which is facing directly east. And that call lasted for 6 seconds.
It's a short call.
And that tower is in the Airways in Lamar, in the area of Airways in Lamar, just north of the homicide scene.
There's the data that's on the map.
Catch up real quick over here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 12:17. If we could reverse one slide. 12:17. Towers here. Is that towers here?
Yes, sir.
And well, that's not you doing that.
He's struggling to use a mouse.
We have a pen on this map.
There's no pin on this map. The homicide scene is off screen towards the bottom.
Airways.
So we have a map with no pins, and the scene is not on it. It's not included.
Trying to figure out how far out it is. You have a landmark on this.
is literally a useless map page.
We'll see it better on the next map?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But the homicide scene is over here somewhere.
It's just
Point of interest was cropped off the picture.
Okay. Here.
Because you've got airways that's running north and south, and we need to get closer to the interstate to see the homicide scene.
Okay. And we are about 6 minutes, or somewhere between 4 minutes and 7 minutes from homicide.
Yes, sir. And again, this is the data that was of that outgoing voice call that lasted 6 seconds. And then at 12:22:40.
Let me stop you for a minute. We need to take a break. Just a quick refresher. 10:15.
The judge looked over to the jury, noticed that only 2 of them were awake.
Court stands in recess.
Judge looked over to the jury, only 2 of them were awake, and said, hey, we need to, stat, we need some caffeine over here. Oh my goodness. I normally don't like bailing on trials mid-trial. But this part's dragging on. It's painful. We might have to watch something else right now and then speed walk through this one and catch up. Let's see. I have been, well, you guys have been painfully dragged through that. I've been learning about my keyboard, my editor. So I'm trying to read that and set up some settings. And I think I have like, do I have multi-view now? I do have multi-view. Input view, multi-view. Video input hardware. Oh, I need to reset it. That's why. Okay. Anyway, if we jump to watch Madden, don't think we can come back. That's the problem. And this one might explode and get good. You never know. The prosecutor might find his stride, and or maybe his coffee. I don't know what he's going to do and start. Speed trial through the stabbing. Let me take a look at this real quick. Give me a second. Where's my mouse? Is that right there? Let's get rid of our cameras from Florida and Georgia. And whatever car ad this was, Defender 110. Let me just pop in really quickly and listen to audio from a couple different trials, okay?
Yes, sir. Okay. Did you know at the time, or do you know now, that she told the deputies not once but twice that she'd been raped and not a dang thing was done?
Okay, so we're probably not going to go to that one. Madden, is it just stabbing? What's in the Madden trial?
Tonight, more dominoes are falling in the Karen Reed case.
Not that one either. Decisions, I know. Who's done for the day? Skybell? Madden's very emotional.
you recognize what's in State's Exhibit?
The audio is terrible on Madden at the beginning. Give me a second. Let me turn up the... Let's jump back to the start right here. Speed, playback speed 1.5. It's going to be fast.
2121675. The jurors are not present at this time. Counsel for the state, Mr. Burris and Mr. Hahn are present, along with Detective Horton, and Mr. Madden appears in person with counsel, Mr. Wilder. Just a few housekeeping details before we get started today. Counsel should have found on their table a packet of the jury instructions. Those are draft instructions. I don't expect you to comment on those today. I just wanted to give you a working copy so that as we go through the evidence in this case, you're able to make comments and request additions or corrections to those. The other thing I wanted to...
We're going to skip some of these.
The media coverage instructed that the jurors will not be filmed. I would ask the counsel to police their own witnesses. If any of your witnesses do not wish to be on film, please let me know that prior to the witness taking the stand, and I will instruct the camera operators to not film that particular witness. Okay, so are we prepared to go forward, Mr. Burris?
With opening, yes.
What do you think? A little slower? Is that better?
For most of this, as the daughter of the defendant and daughter of the deceased, I do believe wishes to exercise her mercy of all rights and be present for whatever part of the trial that she would be allowed to.
All right. Do you have any comment on that, Mr. Wilder?
Yeah, we would object to that.
Listen, I don't want to object to anything. I want to. This is about the family that I love. And listen, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it.
Judge, are we recording?
I believe we are.
I'm so
We need to take a recess?
Yes,
okay, let's take a recess and
I
we'll...
don't want you to hate me. I don't want you to hate me.
That's how it starts? It starts with an emotional outburst from the defendant. I don't want you to hate me. This is my family. Whoa. The cameraman had one job to do and didn't do it, but the audio was there. That is crazy. Okay, so let's skip ahead through the break a little, shall we? Because we can do that because we're 3 days behind. We're in the state of Ohio right now. I don't know if we're going to go back to young Dolph. Waiting for somebody. I want to see the defendant. I guess we saw him briefly. Somebody give me the lowdown on this. Does anyone want to call in? He said, I didn't mean it while on the record, but the jury was not in yet. At what point does everything you say or do can and will be used against you in a court of law? Where does that come in if he admits to it at the beginning of the trial? Dolphin's slow enough we can go back later. Okay, Amber's going to call and fill us in on the little details here. Amber,
good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Afternoon. It's afternoon. My bad. I'm fine. I only have a couple of seconds. Do you want the actual camera view of the defendant when he did that outburst? Because I can send that to you.
Where'd you get it? Yeah. I mean, if you're getting it, maybe I can get it as well, and I can sync things up and do a replay and match things together. That's why we have this fancy equipment.
But I don't have the actual timestamp yet because I wasn't going to go get it if you didn't want it.
I'm intrigued. It's definitely piqued my curiosity. Maybe it's because staring at cell phone coverage maps is not doing it for me this morning.
Not riveting enough, huh?
Not quite.
Yeah, there are a couple of outbursts in this case, and I just have to say that Toxic tried to warn you real time in mod chat.
I don't read mod chat.
I know.
Unless the buffer sound goes off, I'll just let you guys do your thing in there.
Only if you have the buffer sound turned on.
Well, it's not my fault I can't hear the buffer sound. Well, it is, but it's plausible deniability.
Okay, I will work on getting you a timestamp for the actual camera view of the defendant with his outburst. But yes, he.
I'll send you a quick message in mod chat because I need some answers on a couple things, but we don't want it.
I mean, between this one and the chief petty officer trial in Florida.
That one has the R word in it already. I just turned it on. That's the one we listened to audio only. That's a tough one. So.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I just saw your question in mod chat, so I got to go answer the boss.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Get to work. Get to work, Amber. All right. See you. Bye. Bye. Okay, we're trying to skip ahead on. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens.
All rise.
It's still quite emotional.
Please be seated.
Okay, we're back on the record in State versus Madden, CR 22-121675. The jurors are not present at this time. Counsel for the state, Mr. Burris and Mr. Hahn are present, along with Detective Horton, and Mr. Madden appears in person with counsel, Mr. Wilder. Just a few housekeeping details before we get started today. Counsel should have found on their table a packet of the jury instructions. Those are draft instructions. I don't expect you to comment on those today. I just wanted to give you a working copy so that as we go through the evidence in this case, you're able to make comments and request additions or corrections to those. The other thing I wanted to bring is we do have the media covering the trial. I have instructed that the jurors will not be filmed.
Why did it rewind?
I would ask the counsel to police their own witnesses. If any of your witnesses do not wish to be on film, please let me know that prior to the witness taking the stand, and I will instruct the camera operators to not film that.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna slow this. I'm gonna slow this down so I can hear what this outburst was, because apparently we're replaying the same outburst again. But we're going to listen to it at normal speed.
Particular witness. Okay. So, are we prepared to go forward, Mr. Burris?
With opening, yes. I know Michaela Madden, who has been the victim rep for most of this, is the daughter of the defendant and daughter of the deceased. I do believe wishes to exercise her martial law rights and be present for whatever part of the trial that she would be allowed to.
All right. Then, do you have any comment on that, Mr. Wilder?
Yeah, we would object to that.
Listen, I don't want to object to anything. I want to. This is about the family that I love. And listen, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it.
Wow. And then they muted it. What is happening here? Why did it pause? Skip ahead, skip ahead.
We're back on the record in State versus Madden. Again, the jurors are Michael Hahn. Mr. Wilder, is there any need? Do we need to address anything before the jurors are brought in?
Yes, I do believe we should, Your Honor, given what just occurred in court. I'm a little concerned about Mr. Madden's emotional state on seeing some of his family members. And
look at the chairs he gets to sit in.
That may repeat itself in front of the jury. I certainly don't want anything like that to be prejudicial to his defense or his case or his interests. So I do believe at this time, Mr. Madden, because of those reasons, the emotion of this and his family being here, I think he is preferring to be somewhere else in the courtroom, the courthouse, to watch by video, because I don't believe he can get through the portion of this, especially the beginning, without having the emotion he just displayed in court.
They're in judges' chairs, even the defendant. It's a throne.
Okay, Mr. Madden, you've heard Mr. Wilder's representation. Is that your, as what he expressed to the court, how you desire to proceed today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. For having Stephen,
Lawyer's like, shut up. Just a yes is all we need.
A little better. How do you say? How to see my family and now.
The lawyer prompted. What were you going to say?
I'm just a little better.
Well, it appears that you have regained your composure, and I do want you to have a fair trial and to be able to participate with your counsel in your defense. We've gone over a number of cases in the past talking about disruptions in the courtroom. Those include Illinois versus Allen, 90 Supreme Court 1057, and out of our Court of Appeals in the 12th District, State versus Cook, 2021 Ohio 2157, and State versus Kilgore, 2006 Ohio 2139. And as I indicated to you previously, we must have decorum in this courtroom and proceed without disruption. But I want to give you the opportunity to be here, but I can't let you disrupt the proceedings. So I'm going to give you one final caution and ask that you keep the decorum that these proceedings require. And if you fail to do that, I will have you removed from the courtroom, and we will take you to another room where you can view the trial on television, but you will not be in the courtroom so that we can proceed with these matters. Mr. Burrs, is there anything that you wish to put on the record at this time?
I'm in agreement with the court. I was just going to say, I don't think he's had an outburst yet in front of the jury that warrants removal at this point.
Very well. Okay, and is there anything that you wanted to put on the record before we bring the jurors in?
The statement was made in front of defense counsel. I do feel like I probably have to supplement discovery in some way, so I will make an oral supplemental motion as to the statements that Mr. Madden made to family members and in front of the media. It's not actually some of them were in front of the court as well, that's on record. And then I will do a written supplemental discovery later on today when we get down to tomorrow.
He has to say, oh, and by the way, we have this information.
But obviously, Mr. Wilder was right next to him, so he would have heard all the statements.
All right, we stopped the proceedings after you had raised the issue of the victim's representative being in the courtroom and exercising her constitutional rights under Marcy's law. You heard the objection. Did you have any response that you wish to offer with regards to that? All right. At this time, I am going to permit the victim's representative to remain in the courtroom. Is there an expectation that that representative will be testifying at some point during the trial?
I believe she'll be the first one to show.
All right. Okay, and the court will find then that there will be little to no prejudice given that the witness will be the first witness to testify. But if we need to revisit that issue, we certainly can do that. Okay, anything else before, or do we need a few minutes before we start with opening statements?
Mr. Hahn's going to do the opening statement. I believe he's good to go.
Okay, all right, let's go ahead and bring the jurors in.
Judge, I'm sorry.
Oh, just a minute.
I would make a motion for separation of witnesses. I don't know if you want to do that now or after opening, but the defense would move to separate all witnesses in this case so no one's able to hear the testimony of the other before they're called to the stand.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Mr. Burris, on that issue, I've already ruled that the victim's representative may remain in the courtroom. Are there any other witnesses in the courtroom that you anticipate will testify?
Not on behalf of the state of Ohio, however, I do believe Mr. Wilder has at least verbally indicated to me you might be calling Miss Celeste. She is in the courtroom.
So she's on your list too.
Yeah, but I'm not intending on calling her, but I'm not playing games with you now. I'm just saying she is in the courtroom, and you did verbally indicate to me that you may call her as a witness. So that's the one for you. That's one for you to address.
And just so the record's clear, that was on the list that the prosecutor gave me through email. Her name is on that list.
Right.
I don't know if I will call her or not, so I would consider her a defense witness at this point and ask her to leave the courtroom.
Right. Very well, thank you.
And I would also reiterate, I'm asking for my client to be addressed because I don't think he should be in this courtroom in front of this jury the way he's acting right now. I think it's prejudicial to him to do this in front of a jury. So I'm asking for him to be addressed on whether his appearance, he will waive it and go upstairs because I think it would impact his defense in this case.
All right, and again, I will rely on the cases that I previously cited, and I'm going to proceed with caution on this issue so as to give Mr. Madden the fair trial that he deserves, and that we will have to see where things go, but I hope that he'll be able to remain collected and assist in his defense. With regard to separation of witnesses, I will grant that motion, again permitting the victim's representative to remain in the courtroom as well as Detective Horton, who is the state's designee. Okay, so with that, anyone that, other than those two individuals that expects to testify in this trial will need to leave the courtroom, and we can bring the jurors in at this time.
Judge, he's indicating he does not want to be in here.
All right.
I understand.
I've made my ruling, and I'm going to stand by that at this time.
Wow. Selena, thanks for the gifted membership. Mathis, I know we need to get back to some doc readings from Maya. There's a lot out there now. Congrats on 9 months. Let's see. Where are we at? I think we're going to jump ahead to the start of just to the opening statements. Can we do that?
Okay, please be seated. I want to start by thanking you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. It's not our practice to delay the proceedings.
Here we'll go straight to opening statements. Let's start to that.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see here, I have an opening statement prepared. However, sometimes things happen where you have to change on the fly. So I'm still going to give you this opening statement. However, I'm going to tell you something first up front. So probably 30 minutes ago from now, you all were back in the jury room. Mr. Madden was brought into the courtroom here. The record was on. We had to deal with some preliminary matters before you were all brought in. Mr. Madden saw Michaela Madden in the back of the courtroom, and the rest of family members. And he turned to them and said, as he made a motion of this, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it. I love you. That was recorded, and you're going to hear that recording during this trial. You're also going to hear from witnesses that also heard it. Whoa. Detective Horton heard it. He was sitting here. Michaela heard it. She was sitting there. He was talking right to her.
Wow.
So you're going to hear that in this trial.
What an open.
And now, my plan is to give my opening statement that I did have prepared and explain to you what he didn't mean to do. And ladies and gentlemen, it's 55. That's the number that I want all of you to remember. You're going to hear that number a lot throughout this trial. And that's because that's the number of times that Toby Madden, that man sitting right there, stabbed Rochelle Broussard on October 11th of 2022 and killed her. 55. He stabbed his girlfriend of over 20 years and the mother of his child 55 times.
Wow.
And because of this stabbing, he was charged and indicted on 4 counts. And I think it's important, I know you heard it already from the judge in voir dire, but I think it's important that you hear the indictment, and I'm going to read it to you. And I think it's important because I want you to understand these charges, and I want all of you to understand the elements that the state's going to prove to you throughout this trial. Count 1, murder. On or about October 11th of 2022 in Butler County, Ohio, Toby L. Madden did purposely cause the death of Rochelle Broussard, which constitutes the offense of murder, an unclassified felony in violation of revised code 290302 and against the peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. Count 2, murder. On or about October 11th, 2022, in Butler County, Ohio, Toby L. Madden did cause the death of Rochelle Broussard as a proximate result of the offenders committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, and that is not a violation of Section 290303 or 290304 of the revised code, which constitutes the offense of murder, unclassified felony in violation of 290302B. Count 3, felonious assault. and then in parentheses, serious physical harm. On or about October 11th of 2022, in Butler County, Ohio, Toby L. Madden did knowingly cause serious physical harm to Rochelle Broussard, which constitutes the offense of felonious assault, serious physical harm, second-degree felony in violation of 2903-11A1. And finally, count 4, felonious assault with a deadly weapon. On or about October 11th of 2022, in Butler County, Ohio, Toby L. Madden did knowingly cause or attempt to cause physical harm to Rochelle Broussard by means of a deadly weapon or dangerous ordinance, which constitutes the offense of felonious assault with a deadly weapon, second-degree felony in violation of 2903-11A2. That's what he's been charged with for what happened on October 11th of 2022.
Okay, give me
So
a
I'm going to
second.
take you back to that time. On October 11th of 2022, Toby Madden and Rochelle Broussard were living in a house at 1270 Parish Avenue in the city of Hamilton, Butler County, Ohio. They were living there and they were renovating that residence at the same time. And on October 11th of 2022, Rochelle had called the city of Hamilton, the utilities department, and asked that the gas be turned on because they didn't have any gas service there. So at 8 a.m. on October 11th of 2022, 4 City of Hamilton utility workers came out to the residence at 1270. And you're going to hear from all 4 of them. They're going to explain to you how they went up to the door, knocked at 8 a.m. She answered. She let them in. She had a big dog. They had a big dog in this residence. She showed them the way to the basement. They needed to go see the furnace and do some work on the furnace. So she showed them the way to the basement, and she sat on the couch near the front door holding the dog so the dog wouldn't bother them.
Okay.
And as they go downstairs into the basement, they go through an adjacent room right next to where she's sitting on the couch with the dog. And these city workers are going to tell you that there was a male in a chair covered by a blanket, and he was sitting there sleeping. And he didn't get up. He was just there. He didn't say anything to him. So they go downstairs into the basement, and they run their tests on the gas lines, but apparently there's something wrong with the furnace. The furnace doesn't work, so they cannot turn on the gas. So around 8:30 a.m., they go back upstairs out of the basement. They tell Rochelle, the male's still sleeping in the chair. I believe he tells one of the workers, like, what's up, or something to that effect. They walk past him. They go into that front room with Rochelle sitting there with the dog, and they tell her, I'm sorry, we can't turn the gas on to your house. The furnace is broken, and you need to get the furnace fixed first. And they leave at about 8:30 a.m., all 4 of them. And they're all 4 going to tell you that they saw Rochelle as they left, and she was alive and well. And that the house, furniture is not in any disarray. The furniture that is in there is in its correct place. So the next thing you're going to hear then is at noon, so 3.5 hours later, Hamilton Police Department gets a 911 call. And they respond out because Rochelle's been stabbed and killed. So you're going to hear from first responders, Officer Katie Johnson and Officer Taras Volchikov, who at the time was with Hamilton PD in 2022. He's no longer with HPD. He's now with Warren County.
I'm trying a couple different signals to see what we have the
But
best.
you're going to hear from I'm sorry, she's a detective now, but Officer Johnson at the time, you're going to hear from her, and she's going to tell you how that when she arrives, she goes into the house, and there's Toby Madden on top of Rochelle trying to do CPR on what is clearly a deceased person. She pulls him off, gets him outside, hands him off to Officer Volchikov, who takes him outside to the sidewalk. And what else? The other thing that Officer Johnson's going to tell you is that when she goes through that house, there's absolutely no signs of forced entry by anyone. Doors are locked, back doors locked. You're going to see these pictures. There's no breaks in the door jamb in the front door. Windows are intact. And Officer Volchakov is going to tell you that, yes, he was acting hysterically inside when Officer Johnson went in there and pulled him off. But as he gets Toby Madden outside on the sidewalk, Toby then asks for a cigarette.
We're going to go faster.
And then wants to go back and walk. Toby then asks for a cigarette. And then wants to go back inside because he says he needs to get his jacket and his wallet. Of course, Officer Volchakov doesn't allow this, and Toby gets mad at Officer Volchakov for that. The next thing you're going to hear is you're going to hear from Ann Mayers. Ann Mayers is a neighbor who lived at 1260 Parish Avenue, which is right next door, and these houses are close together. She's going to testify, and she's going to tell you that she was sitting on her porch in the morning around 9 a.m., between 9 and 9:30, and she sat out there every morning with her sister that she lived with and drank her coffee. This morning was a little different on October 11th. She heard a scream, and she said that it came, she's going to tell you that it comes from the direction of 1270, so her left, that she's sitting on the porch. But she's also going to tell you that at that time, on October 11th of 2022, she was 73 years old, and she wore hearing aids, and she didn't have a mitt that morning. But she still heard the scream, but she wasn't exactly sure what it was. She's going to tell you she didn't know if it was a woman screaming or if it were kids playing in the neighborhood. So she didn't do anything about it. She
This trial started on Monday.
She went inside and ate breakfast. But then when she comes back outside after breakfast, she's going to tell you that now there's police activity in there, out in the yard and in the street, because she didn't come back out for a while. And she watched all that police activity, and she heard Toby Madden tell police officers out in the yard that there were 3 city workers that came into my house. You're also going to hear from Michaela, Rochelle's daughter, Toby's daughter. She's going to tell you about her parents' relationship. She's going to tell you how they moved from place to place over the years. And she's going to tell you about the on-again and off-again nature of their relationship and the bumpy relationship. She's going to also tell you, as I said before, what he just said to her right here in this courtroom while the record was running. You're also going to hear from Detective Aaron Huckey. He works with the Hamilton Police Department. He's going to testify and tell you that he arrived at the scene on October 11th of 2022, and the first thing that he noticed when he went into that house at 1270 Parish is he's going to tell you how he's hit with the smell of rubbing alcohol. And then he's going to explain to you how he goes through that house and he takes pictures, inside and outside. And you're going to see all these pictures for yourself. And you're going to see in these pictures that there is no forced entry. You're going to see in these pictures there was clearly a struggle inside of this house at 1270 Parish. There's going to be an entertainment center overturned, other furniture pushed around, out of place. And you're going to see the pictures of Rochelle's body laying on the floor, deceased, with 55 stab wounds in her body. And the blood that is all over the wall, and the window, and the floor. Then you're going to hear from Dr. Russell Updegrove, who performed the autopsy on Rochelle's body. He's going to explain to you how he performs an autopsy and how he performed the autopsy on her body. And he's going to guide you through the pictures of the autopsy. Ooh. And you're going to see in those pictures the stab wounds that are in her legs, that are in her arms, in her back, in her torso, and in her head. And then he's going to go through the pictures of the piercing wounds through her liver, through her lungs, and through her heart. They all came from 55 stab wounds. Then you're going to hear from Detective Robert Horton. He's the leading investigator in this case. And he's going to tell you that on October 11th of 2022, that he interviewed Toby Madden. And that Toby Madden implied to him that 3 utility workers from the city of Hamilton did this. They killed Rochelle. And he's also going to tell you that Toby Madden told him in that interview that people were out to get him. And then he follows that up with, but he doesn't know anyone that would want to hurt Rochelle. And Detective Horton is going to tell you how he photographed Toby Madden. Photographed scratches on his arms, on his torso, and on his chest. He's going to tell you that on October 11th at the scene, that he collected a black backpack at the scene and that contained a red-handled Swiss Army knife. And that Swiss Army knife appeared to be wet. And he's going to tell you how he went to Rochelle's autopsy. And he collected the black Planet Fitness t-shirt that she was wearing when she was murdered. And you're going to see the holes in that shirt. He's also going to tell you that he collected a sample of her DNA when he went to that autopsy. And then he's going to tell you that about 2 weeks after the murder, he discovers that Toby Madden went to Kroger the night before the murder on October 10th. They went to the Kroger on Route 4 and Grand Boulevard in the city of Hamilton. And that's very, very close to 1270 Parish. And he's going to tell you that he pulls video from Kroger. And you'll see the video, and you'll see the still shots from it. And Detective Horton takes note of what Toby Madden is wearing in that video. He's got on a green vest and a gray shirt. And he purchases some candy bars and miscellaneous items. And Detective Horton is then going to tell you how, because of that video and those clothes that he was wearing on October 10th, he obtains a search warrant, goes back into 1270 Parish, and then he finds that green vest and that gray shirt in the basement and finds that Kroger bag. And when he finds that green vest and gray shirt, he sees blood on it. And these are different from the clothes that Toby Madden was wearing when the police showed up on October 11th. As you'll see in the pictures, he has on a bright yellowish neon colored shirt. And then the next thing you're going to hear is from Detective Doug Trenum. Detective Trenum went in on October 11th into 1270 Parish, and he saw bloodstains in the bathroom sink. They were visible to the naked eye, and he collected those blood samples. And he's also going to tell you that there were bloodstains and blood in that sink that wasn't visible to the naked eye. And he's going to explain to you how he figured that out and how he found those. And he collected those samples of that blood. He's also going to explain to you that 2 weeks later, after Detective Horton finds these clothes, Detective Trenum takes blood samples off of the green vest and the gray shirt. And he sends all of those samples up to the Bureau of Criminal Investigation in London, Ohio. Now, you'll probably hear all of us refer to that as BCI, but that is the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear from Catherine Bailey from BCI. And she's going to come down here and she's going to tell you, she's a forensic scientist, and that she tested all of these samples that were sent to them from the Hampton Police Department. And what she's going to tell you is that Rochelle's blood is in that sink. Rochelle's blood is on that green vest. Rochelle's blood's on that gray shirt.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, every trial is like a puzzle. When you build a puzzle, and in that trial, every witness that you hear from, they're giving you pieces to that puzzle. Every exhibit that you're going to see is giving you pieces to that puzzle. And as you all know, when you do a puzzle as a kid or whoever does them, even still now, when you're putting that puzzle together, you figure out what the picture is even before you get all the pieces. And throughout this trial, you're going to get those pieces. And you're going to see that that puzzle reveals Toby Madden. And we're going to stand back up here and we're going to ask you to find him guilty on all 4 counts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hahn.
What a way to start an open by saying, oh, by the way, right before you came in,
Wilder, do you wish to make an opening statement at this time?
the defendant
Sure.
confessed in open court. That's how he starts his open. Yeah, how to sink your case in 3 easy seconds. That open was everything that it should be. An open should be basically an overview of what the jury's going to hear. You're walking them through. This is what's coming. This is what's coming up. This is what we're going to show you. Now you have to then be able to deliver on that, or the jury might hold that against you. But he laid out every witness, what they're going to say. He laid out the crime scene. He laid out the facts, how they discovered them. Why? Wow, he's. Was that I love you? Okay, I might need to slow this one down. Hold tight for a second. Let's go over here. Let me jump to the end. Scroll back. This is witness tampering, possibly. Okay, let me show you what I'm looking at. Ready? Let's go full screen on this. This is frame by frame of him mouthing words to somebody who's in the court here. Ready? Nice and slow. Why is it not playing? Let's try this again. Here we go. Was that a don't? Just backwards, forwards. Come on. Real time. I don't know. I've got to slow this down. Let me jump back to live. Sorry, I don't like when people do what I just did. So sorry about that. Where's my camera now? I've lost where I'm at. We are at we're going to go to 1.25 speed instead of 1.5 and play. So the nicest chairs I've ever seen a defendant sit in the courtroom.
At this time is not making an opening statement, but we reserve the right to make that opening statement during our case in chief.
Very well. All right, could the state please call its first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Stand by. We call Michaela Madden, please.
This is the daughter.
Okay, you may proceed, Mr. Burris.
Where would the court like to call you?
Wherever's comfortable for you is fine. Are all of the jurors able to see the witness stand with the podium there? Okay, that'll be fine.
She's sworn in.
Good afternoon, young lady. Would you please state your name for the record and spell your first and last name, please?
Michaela Madden. It's M-C-K-A-Y-L-A. Last name Madden, M-A-D-D-E-N.
And I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot to ask Miss Madden. I know there's recording going on, TV recording.
Ma'am, these proceedings are being filmed. Do you have any objection to being filmed?
It's a little late
Thank
now.
you, Judge. I apologize. And Miss Madden, what part of town do you currently live in?
Westchester, Ohio.
And I'm going to give you a few names if you can tell me how it is that you know these individuals. Do you know a person by the name of Rochelle Broussard?
Yes, she's my mother.
Okay. And do you know an individual by the name of Toby Madden?
Yes, my father.
Okay. Do you see Toby Madden in the courtroom today? If you could please point to him and describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what it is he's wearing.
He's wearing a plaid shirt and khakis.
Okay, Your Honor, I've asked the record to reflect the witness that identified the defendant, Toby Madden.
The record will so reflect.
And ma'am, how old are you right now?
I'm 26.
Okay. And are your parents married?
No,
Are they boyfriend and girlfriend?
I guess you can say.
Okay. Do you know how long they have been in a relationship?
Probably 28 years.
Okay. Probably ever since you were around the time you were born?
Before
leading
me.
up to that? Okay.
2.
And you were here in the courtroom before the jury came out, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Where were you seated?
Over in the corner right there.
Okay. Were you seated in probably the
Third row.
third row? And whereabouts were you seated?
By the window.
Okay. Did you see your father, Toby Madden, walk into the courtroom?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did you hear Toby Madden say something to you?
Yes.
Or say something really in front of a lot of people?
Yes, in front of everyone.
Okay. The detective was there?
Yes.
The media was there?
Yes.
Okay. What did you hear your dad say to you?
I'm sorry. We got into an altercation, and I basically am the one that did it. Basically, found it guilty. I love you. Don't hate me.
October 11th, 2022, the day that your mother was allegedly stabbed several times at this point. Where was your mother living?
Parrish Avenue.
Okay. If I told you the address was 1270 Parrish Avenue, does that sound about right?
Yes, John.
Yes. Is that located in the city of Hamilton, Butler County, Ohio? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know it's a couple years ago now, so if you don't know, it's okay. Do you know about how long your mom had been living at that address?
Not for long. She was trying to basically renovate it, get it up to date.
Do you know how it is that your mom started living there, or who helped her
My
get the house?
My aunt Sherry, she helped get establish the housing to get her somewhere where she could be stable.
Do you know when Rochelle initially moved into that residence? Did anybody move in with her? Do you know?
No, not really. It was supposed to just be for her.
Okay. Did your mom have a dog?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe, what kind of dog your mom had?
A big fat bulldog pit bull.
Okay.
Gray and white.
When you say big, how big?
Oh, fat. Very fat. Not wide, too.
Like over 100 pounds big?
He's probably 80. Probably 80.
Okay.
It's a big dog.
Had you ever been over to that house at 1270 Parish?
Yes.
Okay. How many times would you say that you've been there?
Quite a few times to see the progress.
Okay. What was going on inside of the residence?
The flooring was being replaced. Basically, she was working on that. New cabinets were coming in. She's getting some furniture in the house.
At some point, did you become aware that your father, Toby, sort of moved into that house?
Yes.
Do you know in relation to when it is? I'm sorry, strike that. Let me ask it this way. Do you know how long that your mother had been living at that house on 1270 Parish before your dad moved in?
Probably the end of September.
Okay. So Toby did not move in right away?
No.
Okay. And actually, if I can approach the wheelchair.
You may.
I apologize. If I may approach the wheelchair.
They got wireless mics. That's terrible. Wireless mics are terrible for court.
I'm showing defense counsel what's been marked as State's Exhibit 4. If I may approach the wheelchair.
You may.
Do you recognize what's in State's Exhibit number 4?
Yes.
Okay. What is in State's Exhibit number 4?
The parish house that she was living in.
Okay. Does that photograph truly, fairly, and accurately depict
Yes.
the residence?
Yes.
No, I'd ask for permission to publish to the jury.
Any objections to Wilder?
No objection.
All right, permission is granted.
Right, do you want that here? I think is it going to go on the...
We're going to do that every time? That sounds fun.
What do I need to do?
Use your computer or
I'll see his computer. Sorry. Should I use Elmo?
Yeah. It's on our screen.
Okay, so this audio needs so much work, it's not even funny. Put some limiters on
It should be
here,
on
save our
the screen
ears.
in front of you as well. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit number 4?
The Parish Avenue house.
Okay. That's a house that your mom, I'm sorry, that your aunt was renting or kind of on a...
Is that a
land
shotgun
contract
style?
with your mom?
Contract.
Shotgun house?
On October 11th, 2022, you can take it down if you need to. Was your mom working somewhere?
Yeah.
Where was she working?
It was Magnolia Groves in Loveland, Ohio.
Okay. And what was her job there?
She was a nurse.
Prior to your mom moving into 1270 Parish Avenue, do you know where your mom was living?
She was staying with my cousin for a while. Ginger Halcomb.
Okay. At some point, was your mom living down in Covington?
Yes.
Hey, do you know the time frame of when your mom was living in Covington?
It would have to be, sorry, my brain, probably around, I want to say June 2022.
Okay. Do you know how long she had lived down in Covington?
Not for long.
Okay. Who was she living down in Covington with?
Cousin.
Your dad? Okay. Have you ever been down to Covington to see
Yes.
your mom and your dad?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever hear your dad have an argument with Rochelle regarding her not being faithful?
Yes.
Tell us about that if you would, please.
Many times he would accuse of her of cheating or being a prostitute.
Whoa.
When she was not.
Did you and your mom live together at some point prior to Covington?
Yeah.
Where did you guys live?
Athens in Loveland, Ohio. A townhome.
Townhome. Why did you get, I'm sorry, who was the first one that got that townhome?
Me and my mom.
Okay. Was there anybody else that was living with you there?
My daughter's father.
Okay. Were your daughters living there as well? I'm sorry, your daughter?
Yeah.
At some point, did Toby move into that apartment or that townhome?
Yes.
I assume you weren't too happy about that?
No.
Safe to say your mom and dad had an on and off again relationship over the years?
Very.
I think I just have 2 more pictures.
Okay, I am going to make a link for this trial for the thumbnail. I need your help on that. So let's post that in chat right now. Shotgun style house. You open the front door, and it goes straight through a hallway, and there's a back door. You can like shoot a shotgun right through it. Not hit anything.
You may. State's Exhibit 110. Do you recognize what is depicted in State's Exhibit 110?
Yes.
How do you know it's in State's Exhibit 110?
It's a vest that he used to wear all the time.
Okay. And who is he?
Toby Madden.
Your dad?
Yes.
Okay. You've seen your dad wear that vest?
Yes.
You're not asked for permission ask for 110 to be admitted in permission.
Any objection, Mr. Wilder?
No objection.
All right, it'll be admitted and you may publish it.
Ms. Madden, we're almost done here. If you look at State's Exhibit 110, what is it that we're looking at here?
We're looking at his vest that he wore quite often.
Okay.
We have something wireless audio somewhere that needs to
I
go.
want to show defense counsel State's Exhibit 179. Have they approach me? Showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 179. Who is depicted in State's Exhibit 179?
My mother, Rochelle Bruce.
Okay. That's a picture of her at the morgue.
Yes, it is.
You just throw a picture of her at the morgue in front of the daughter? You can Wikipedia Shotgun House if you want to see it. It's a little bit different than the style they showed there. Static's one of the hardest noises to take out of audio unless you can eliminate the source.
Another question, John. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, cross-examination, Mr. Wilder.
Good afternoon, Ms. Madden. Is it okay if I call you Michaela?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask you a few questions here. If you don't understand them or if they're confusing, just let me know and I'll try to rephrase them for you. Is that fair?
Yes.
I want to start with, you were questioned about something that your father said to you when he entered the courtroom today. When's the last time you saw your father?
Last time I saw him, I don't know, maybe in the earliest of October of 2022.
So it's been close to 2 years?
Yes.
And fair to say that in the last 2 years, you've not had the ability to see your father. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Were you emotional when you saw him today, like he was when he saw you?
Yeah, I would say so.
You talked about the Parrish Avenue. We saw the picture. Isn't it true that you actually took your dad, Toby, to Parrish?
I've never took Toby to Parrish Avenue.
How many times do you think you were over at the Parrish Avenue address? I think you said several times.
Yeah, several times.
And you were over there to check on the renovation?
I was there to pick up my daughter.
So you were just there to pick your daughter up? You
Quite a
weren't
few
there to
times,
check?
and I've seen the renovations too.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that place on Parrish was a mess when your mom first started trying to get that
I mean, it
together?
wasn't put together, but it wasn't super messy. She was an OCD lady.
Did you go into Parrish Avenue address every time that you went there?
No, most of the time, yeah.
And you would see a lot of tools, a lot of materials trying to get that house up to shape. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Remodeling.
Did you speak to the neighbors around your mom at all?
No, the ones in the blue house were weird.
They were weird.
So the ones in the blue house were weird.
Yeah.
Did you see any people in that area that appeared to be under the influence of drugs when you went to Parrish? Did you see people out and about that appeared to be?
No, not really.
Are you aware of whether the area around Parrish Avenue, which is not only 5 minutes from this courthouse, is a drug area? Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Did you notice the broken window on the Parrish Avenue house?
Yes.
Were you aware that 5 days before your mom was murdered, there was a burglary at the house? Were you aware of that?
No.
When you went in the house, isn't it true that there were boards placed up in front of windows?
No.
There wasn't?
No, there was no boards placed up on the windows.
I noticed in the exhibit you were showing a picture of the house, there was an open trespassing sign. You saw that, correct?
Yeah, it's always been there.
Any indication why that's there?
The owner of the house before had it there.
And it's something that your mom kept up, correct?
Yeah.
Were you aware if people were getting in that house trespassing?
No.
How many entrances are there to that house?
There's the back door, and then there's the front door.
Okay. Is the backyard fenced in any way?
No.
So if someone were walking down the street and saw Parrish Avenue, they could walk to around the back of the house and...
On the sides there was fences.
I'm sorry, what?
On the sides there was fences.
Okay, so you can't, unless you live there, you couldn't get into the backyard? Mm-hmm. So you're saying it was gated off?
Well, the back part wasn't gated off, but those sides were fenced in.
Are you aware of anyone doing work to the back door in the few days before your mother was murdered?
No.
Now, you seem to insinuate or testify that Toby wasn't supposed to be at Parrish. Is that what you were trying to tell us?
I mean, no, he really wasn't, but he always comes. He's like a stray cat.
He's like a stray cat?
Yeah, he always follows.
Were you aware that her sister Sherry had asked Toby to come and assist with some of the renovation because someone named Casey Ward was not doing his job? Was that something you're aware of?
No.
Do you know who Casey Ward is?
Yes, I know who Casey
Were
Ward is.
you aware he was being provided money to help with that house?
Yes.
But you're not aware that Toby was being asked to do stuff to help up?
No.
Help. That would be news to you if you found that out.
Yeah.
When you went out to Parrish these several times, you said to pick up your daughter and you saw the residence. Did you ever see Toby there?
Yeah.
And was your mom Rochelle there as well?
Yes.
Did you see anything unusual between the two of them when you were out there at the house, Parrish?
Looked like they always are in an argument, that's for sure.
And they've been together 27 years, is that right?
28.
28 years. Do you believe that Toby was trying to assist with the renovation at all of that house?
No.
You don't think
Sorry,
so?
no.
But fair to say that in even a few days before your mom was murdered, that Toby is around the house and your mom is renovating that house on Parrish, correct?
Yeah.
And Toby is still in her life.
Yeah.
When's the last time you spoke to your father? I asked you when the last time you saw him. When's the last time you spoke to him?
He contacted me not too long ago.
Over the phone?
Mm-hmm. I answered.
Did you ever observe your mother hit Toby?
No.
You never saw her strike him in any way? You did mention that Toby may have been upset or said something to the effect that your mom was cheating on him or was a prostitute. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Is that something you heard with your own ears, or is that something that someone else told you?
No, I've heard it with my own ears.
Was your mom in the presence as well, or did he just
No.
tell you? Sorry, we kind of talked over there. When he said this to you, was it just you and him one-on-one?
Yes.
Your mom wasn't there?
Yes.
Did you ever know if your mom had ever hit your dad with a baseball bat or a bat of any kind?
No.
Have you ever taken your father to the hospital because of any injuries he may have received from your mother?
No.
Did you ever happen to see any video recording of an incident where your mother had done something to you?
No.
Judge, that's all I have. Oh, one more thing.
Okay.
This podium's not as big as what it used to be. I got a few more here. You know Colleen Shaw?
Yeah.
How long have you known her?
Since I was, let's see, 6th grade.
6th grade?
Yeah.
You know Tim Madden?
Yeah.
How do you know Tim Madden?
My uncle.
What about Bailey Shaw?
Yeah.
How do you know Bailey?
That's Colleen's son.
When's the last time you talked to Colleen?
Not too long ago.
To your knowledge, is Colleen a friend of Toby and Rochelle's?
Was my mom's friend, yeah.
Same thing with Bailey? She's friends.
That's her son.
Would he be friends with Toby and Rochelle?
I guess you could say. Not really friends as a kid, you know.
Are you aware that Colleen Shaw used to hang out with your mom and dad? Is that what you're thinking about? Did that happen a lot?
When we were younger, yeah. When I was younger.
To your knowledge, was Colleen Shaw hanging out with your mom and dad in let's say the month before she was murdered? Is that anything you know?
No.
Judge, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, redirect.
I don't believe I have any questions, Your Honor. Thank you. I would like to subject Ms. Madden to recall possibly any offenses.
All right, very well. Okay, ma'am, I'm going to have you step down at this time. And as you heard Mr. Burris say, please be available in case you're needed for further testimony. Okay? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and excuse you for the evening. I know it's been a long day, and again, I appreciate your patience with us. We will go a full day tomorrow, so I'd like you to be here promptly at 9 so we can get started. Again, I will give you a mid-morning break, mid-afternoon break, and we will have a lunch break as well. If you, again, need to let people know where you are, you're certainly welcome to do that, to give the court's phone number, but you may not talk about this case with anyone, and you may not do any kind of investigation, and you may not read anything about, watch anything about it that may be on the media or on the internet, okay? Please take those instructions very seriously, and I will see you tomorrow at 9 in the morning, okay?
As they wrap things up there, holy cow, first of all. Defense did not give an opening. They reserved the right, which means that they might give an opening right before their case in chief. So after the prosecution rests, defense might give an opening then. That's something that we see occasionally. Also, we see that when defense doesn't have a case at all. Sometimes they'll say we're not going to say anything now. We don't have to, and instead they focus on. They have to prove their case. We have no obligation to present anything. That was the end of day one. We're going to pick up on day two here. Let's take a lunch break, and let's pick up on day two this afternoon. I have no regrets. No regrets. That's an old meme. The tattoo when the guy gets the tattoo that says no regrets, and they spell regret wrong. I have no regrets for bailing on Justin Johnson. But we're gonna do lunch. Okay, let's do that. Let's see.
Okay, the jurors have been excused from the courtroom. Before we recess for the evening, is there anything on behalf of the state of Ohio?
So a couple of things. I do want to apologize. It was my intention to give out exhibit list to Mr. Wilder and the court before, so I apologize. There's obviously a few things that happened. Number two, I would assume the pathologist is not going to testify until at least Wednesday or Thursday, depending upon how witnesses are going to be slotted. I don't know if the court would like the photos we intend to use ahead of time. I'm sure if you have your computer, I can burn a PowerPoint onto the thumb drive for you so you can look at them. Or if the court wants them ahead of time, or if the court just wants to deal with them at the time that the witness is going.
I think that I will need the context of testimony to make any decisions, but if there are particular photographs that you intend to use and that you have objections to those, Mr. Wilder, and it's something you want to take up prior to the testimony, we can do that, but I think I will be limited in any rulings I can make until I have the benefit of the testimony.
So if you have an external hard drive or a thumb drive, I can put PowerPoint on it, however you like it.
Typically, we go through it at the time because, like you said, Judge, it'll depend on the particular picture, and if there's one that I want to object to, we can just do it at that time. And maybe just make a general objection to where we don't. If you sidebar, that's one thing, but if not, it may just be.
And the court doesn't let me show any photos until they're
right. So I think we can just deal with it as it goes. Right. I think that's okay.
And then lastly, I didn't want the court to think I was misleading the court. I did ask for Michaela to be the victim representative. The court said, well, since she is the first witness, there's very little prejudice. However, I think some of the names that Mr. Wilder brought up in cross-examination and some of the questions may make her possibly a potential rebuttal witness in the state's case. So we can chew on that tonight and think about it tomorrow. But I know the court made its ruling thinking there's very little prejudice if she's going to be the first witness and she may not come back, and how that might change some things.
Right. And I would just note that she does have rights under Marcy's law. Those are constitutional rights, and she's essentially put on the same footing as the defendant. But if there are cases that you think that I need to be aware of, I would ask you to be prepared to argue those in the event that you wish for me to modify my ruling. Okay, anything that you'd like to put on the record before we leave for the evening?
No, Judge, I'm good at this point.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'll see everyone tomorrow morning. We'll get started right at 9. Thank you.
Thank you. I assume I'll hold on to the photos that they introduced.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we're gonna take a break there and go to lunch and come back with day 2 of this one. Wow, what a start! That would put us basically one day behind. We'll be playing catch up, so we're gonna be doing 1.25 speed. And okay, first of all, when it comes to crime, especially murder, a knife is a very personal attack. And generally when it's a very personal attack, or when it's a gun, when it's a personal attack, the attacker tends to use more attacks than needed. And 55 would mean personal attack. This does not look, it doesn't have the hallmarks of a city gas crew randomly chancing upon someone they can murder. Just off the top of my head, I would say that's a very implausible story to go from there. All right, did Dolph trial finish? We did. We finished Dolph trial. No, I think they're still talking about cell towers. Still talking about cell towers. All right. It's lunchtime. This guy has big issues. Big issues. Yeah. Let me make a thumbnail for after lunch. It's a little bit loud. We need a new thumbnail. Because I can't use the Dolph one. I was falling asleep every day in court with the other one. So let's reuse the settings. I don't know what thumbnail to use. We've got nothing up there yet in our cooperation. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. Please stay safe till we go live in a little bit. I'd like to say we're getting a portal, but let's see. Details. I'd like to say we're getting a portal, but it's building very, very slowly, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that. Or I'll just completely miss the post. So that's going to day 1. There we go. Save that, close. Go back, create a new one. View settings. Yeah, I missed it completely. We'll just hang out here after the music stops. There's nothing really happening. Ohio v. Madden. Day 2. Nothing to see here. Details. The thumbnail. I need to change to be something else.
Have them send someone with more experience.
This is always a good idea.
Shame on you, sir.
More experience is better. Oh, let's take a phone call, shall we? Hey, spam risk? Hello? Hello? Hello, is this about Medicare?
Hi, this is Mary from Med Health Center. I'm calling to let you know that after this recent open enrollment, if you have Medicare Part A and B, you're eligible for great newly added benefits like monthly $180 cash back, dental, hearing, vision, prescription coverages, and food card at absolutely no cost. So, do you have Medicare Part A and B?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Just hold on a second.
That was for you, Mathis. Do I say yes?
Hey, this is Brian in the recorded line. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Hold on one second. No, it was a large fry and 2 Cokes. I'm sorry, go ahead. Large fry, 2 Cokes. The Cokes are medium. Oh, he hung up. Yeah, he didn't want the drive-thru either, apparently. So. All right. It's lunchtime. I'm thinking about food. Okay, hang on. I'm building the portal is what I'm doing. I'm trying to stall. The music has ended a long time ago. We're just gonna cut things out here. If you missed this morning, the only thing you missed was we did have a really good prank call. That I managed to get him to yell at me for telling the story. He's like, "Why are you telling me this story?" That was pretty good. I hope to see that on Twitter somewhere. So that'll be great. Other than that, it's lunchtime. It's time for me to disappear like this, pop, and then for you to, to go get some lunch, get some food. Tina, can get your food. Okay, here we go. See you guys after lunch.